welcome my guest this evening, Junk.
Everybody, hello, welcome. Good to be here. Good to be here.
Hello,
Welcome
on in, Junk. Oh, the pleasure's all mine. Folks in chat, as always, please let me know if the audio is balanced all right. I usually get things about right nowadays, but sometimes things go a little bit crazy. So just in case, let me know if you can't hear Junk or if somebody's too loud.
Oh, trust me, they'll be able to hear me. I'm a very...
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Oh, they're not going to have any problems hearing me. It's the lack of hearing me. That's the problem.
Yeah, we actually had that for a moment before we went live, but that's what we do the troubleshooting for. But before we jump in too much, I'm guessing that most people here tonight are probably already familiar with you, Junk, but for those who aren't, if you could introduce yourself.
Abso-freaking-lutely. My name is Junk. I'm an 80s-themed, explosive-loving VTuber. With the proclivity for being very loud, because people want to sound smart. They go really loud, right? So that's basically why I'm loud. I really love Japanese, city pop. A lot of that, urban jungle vibe. I really like that kind of thing. Model was drawn up by Wuzzy and rigged by Done at Dan. The two people who pilot this Evangelion model. It's the only reason I'm able to do this. So those are my VTuber parents, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy to have you, and hello, Vivi, I see you in the chat. You're actually the one that introduced me to Junk, that it was after one of her streams that she rated into your re-debut, or at least the debut for the current model, so have her to thank, and been following you since, and I knew for a while, I was like, all right, I want to get Junk on the show. Got to find a chance to get Junk on the show. And finally, things lined up. So super happy to have you tonight. You're a variety streamer by trade. You do a lot of different things. And I suppose for the past couple weeks, or really this week in particular, though, it's kind of everything old is new again. But at the same time, everything old has been revolutionized. That Pokemon Legends Arceus and Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I don't know about you, Junk, but I grew up with both Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon as central parts of my childhood, late elementary school, early middle school years. And it's the type of thing where everything old's new again, that they're back, but at the same time, they've never gone anywhere. But for these two particular entries, it feels like this is the stuff we dreamed about when we were kids. Open world Pokemon, right? Or just being able to duel with anyone, anytime, with good graphics and music. It's so cool to see these franchises that we've grown up with just continue to soar and ultimately get to these points that, like I said, we really dreamed of, and we thought, oh, that'd be cool. But with the technology we had back in the day, none of this was possible. So seeing it happen and seeing so many people playing and loving and continuing to cherish these building blocks of our childhood is so cool.
I think it's a testament, I think the reason so many people are happy about seeing Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Still succeed is because it's a part of our childhood that hasn't really died yet, And to see that grow alongside you, it's like a friend that never left.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I love it. It's like the comfort food. It's always there when you're home after a long, hard day. I'm glad that it's still alive, still ticking, still beating.
And obviously, things have changed a little bit. That Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a little bit more complex, shall we say, than it was when we first grew up. That there's Link summons, Synchro summons, all these different things, and Pokemon has spiraled into damn near 1,000. But at the same time,
the meme? Like, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Meme is, what the fuck is a pendulum summon?
It's true. It's true. But at the same time, it's like, things grow, we grow, and it's been cool seeing those continue to grow. And, as
much like people, nothing really, everything changes or remains the same. That's always a good saying that I've come to live by. I'm not the person that I wanted to be exactly word for word. I wanted to be 6'2" 10 years ago. That didn't work out. Everything changes. It stays the same. I'm still the person who I wanted to be, but I wasn't the person who I wanted to be, I think much in the same way we can look at franchises like that. Not every franchise is going to turn out exactly like you want it to. For instance, I thought 10 years ago we'd have like augmented reality. We'd be dueling in like actual entertainment circles with holograms and
okay,
not
yes.
quite there yet.
If I'm completely honest, the thing that we all truly dreamed of was actual functional dual discs.
Oh my god, it's so impractical, but Konami, if you jumped on it, I would give you so much money. All my money. I'd pay like $10,000 a dual disc.
At the same time, like, 10, 15 years ago, we couldn't imagine what we have now. So maybe 10, 15 years from now, we'll be saying, oh my gosh,
if
we're
we don't
actually
have
getting it. Who
Yu-Gi-Oh!
knows?
Duel Monsters by the time I'm 85, I'm going to be very upset. I'm going to inject my brain into the Sword Art Online fantasy world till we have that. God, I need it so badly.
Of all the ones, don't do Sword Art. Hazardous to your health in other ways, but I get what you mean, man. I get what you mean. Completely agree, and I hope we can get there. But I'd say if I were to choose between the two, the one that it feels like you've really, really vibed with is Yu-Gi-Oh! That you've really sunk your teeth into it just the past couple of weeks. You're actually hosting a huge tournament this weekend, right?
This Saturday, yes, my first ever Duel Links tournament. I've always loved tournament arcs. But first of all, I really love Yu-Gi-Oh! For a myriad of reasons. But one of the reasons is, much like my personality, it's very over the top. It's very overexpressed and very overindulged. And
oh yeah, you get into it when you're playing. That you're acting like you're on the show, announcing every card you play, just hamming it up.
That.
Oh yeah, you're having the time of your life, man. I love it.
I actually commissioned two, because I have a favorite monster and I have one that's like actually competitively viable. So I commissioned two $300 animations from this artist who does these animations that summons these Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and you just press the button. Super over the top, no reason to do it, but it just, for me, it's a nerdy thing that adds that much more showmanship to it. Mm-hmm. But yes, going back to that over the top nature of Yu-Gi-Oh, I love it. Right? It's one of the most interactive things you can do. It pulls people into a narrative, and decks much like VTuber models, they can be used to express who you are. And I feel like that card game is really good for that. I mean, you don't see Magic the Gathering players fucking playing one with nothing and be like, I play one with nothing. It makes me discard my entire hand. No, you only see that over the top, gamey anime crap with Yu-Gi-Oh! And I love it.
Yeah,
the tournament, the tournament aspect is really fun because I get to be like my own Pegasus, I'm gonna be like,
absolutely.
Right, welcome everyone to the first ever Junk Duels tournament. Follow the rules or you'll get executed. All that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. And I get to give people cash prizes. People get things they wouldn't ordinarily get just from their own merit of succeeding. And I like to foster that kind of mentality that people should come together and celebrate something nerdy and be proud of themselves.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the two animations that you're getting. Are you able/willing to say what they are? Or are you keeping those hidden for the time being?
No, not at all. I have a favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card called Flame Cerberus. I really like that card. It's like a three-headed Flame Cerberus. I've loved it since I was a kid. It was
that's one of the old ones.
My Dark Magician, right?
Yeah, I remember that's like a vanilla monster. I think it's like 2200 attack or something. It's completely unremarkable from a competitive standpoint, but I remember it.
No,
it's got
it
like
has
this
never seen
yellow and
play.
red manes, and I feel like it had a purplish body.
Yes, like a purplish pink body with a red mane. Completely no competitive bias. I embarrassingly, as a kid, I wanted to be the fire duelist because I was like, oh, they got the grass dude or the bug dude, they got Weevil, they got the dinosaur dude, they got the water dude, they got the harpy chick. I want to be where's the fire dude? There's no fire dude. I'm the fire dude now. And my ace card is Google's best fire card at the time. Flame Cerberus. He's my best. He's my ace. He's my Dark Magician, and I just fell in love with him.
I just looked up the picture for myself. It's 2100 attack. I'm proud that I remembered so closely.
A 6-star 2100 monster. Yep.
And the other one, the competitive one.
Well, I guess back in the day, it's like a Desperado Barrel Dragon like Barrel Dragon card. So it's like a Bandit Keith, but a signature card. But it's cool because I can use that card in like any game, any version of Yu-Gi-Oh that I ever play on stream. I can use either of those animations because those cards are so old school. Yeah. They just work well for the whole thing,
Oh,
It's
smart
awesome.
thinking there. Also, just the fact that they are just OG cards.
They're in every game.
They're gonna
So
be
I can use it
game.
in every game. Absolutely. Why wouldn't they? They're legacies. You can't get rid of Barrel Dragon. You can get rid of Flame Cerberus, I guess. No one really cares about him. But there's like Hazy Flame Cerberus. Like I can do a lot of stuff with it. No.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely
really
looking forward to seeing those. And like you mentioned that I actually stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh! A couple of years back and actually wound up in Magic the Gathering. Most of what I like about that game is that there's a format called Draft that just which the way that it's designed, Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't work with Draft. That's just different designs. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Still holds a very special place in my heart, and it's been so exciting seeing people sinking their teeth back into it, like I was saying. And
I've been very upset scrolling through. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I've been very upset scrolling through Twitter because I see these people like ragging on this game that's been out for less than 2 weeks, and they're complaining that the game. This is the problem I've been having lately with just the nature of video game consumption and media in general. There's never enough. People are upset that the game only has like X amount of story missions or this XX amount of hourly play, or you can only grind to Platinum 1. And it really upsets me that I saw this tweet at work and I went off on it, kind of like replying to it and quickly deleting it because I can't afford to receive flack like that. But it really upset me that people so harshly criticize something just because it's not enough. And this is like the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Card sim we've ever gotten. Like flashy effects and weighty
3
cards,
weeks out, 2 weeks out. They give them some time. There's gonna be more added.
They're already releasing 5 modes, 4 new ranks, all kinds of crap, like maybe a draft format, like all kinds of cool stuff, and it hasn't even been a month. And most games drop in the first month and they're buggy as hell and they're all broken. And this is like the first game, mind you, it's like a card game, so it's really hard to mess up a card game. It's like the first game ever that's like not buggy upon release.
Yeah, well, at the same time that card games are actually among the most complex to program in their own ways, because you need to make sure that every piece interacts properly with every other piece, that an infinite loop doesn't crash the game, that for some reason that, I don't know, some random elemental hero thing doesn't go wrong when you're targeting Clayman, but it works right when you're targeting Burstinatrix or something. And there's so many pieces because you have to have those variables and make sure that everything plays nicely with each other. And in practicality, QA, and I say this as someone who does QA for a living, they're not able to test every iteration of every card with every other card. That they go through sanity checks and whatnot, but in a day, the general populace will spend more person hours playing the game and going through more iterations of card combinations than the QA team will be able to do in a month, probably more than 2 or 3 months.
I've always thought about that too. I always had that same question. I know the answer is obvious, but I'm always like, how did they miss this during QA? The game reviewers. How did they miss this during quality assurance? And it's like, there's like thousands of millions of people playing the game week 1. They're gonna find the bugs.
Yeah.
Right? That's their job, to scrub the game pretty much. Make it squeak and clean.
Sometimes games get released with known bugs that they plan to patch quickly, but for card games in particular, just due to the modular nature of everything, that the feasibility of testing every card combination just isn't possible. That you're talking unreal numbers in terms of combinations. So the fact that it was released and you're seeing all the stuff, and of all the things that you're seeing, bugs in that game is not one of them. That's impressive. That's really impressive.
I've always thought it was really. When I was a kid, I always preferred playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Always digitally. I always played the Legacy of the Duelist games and the Sacred Cards, the GBA games, the really early Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, because they were all automated. And in real life, you play with other kids, because I wanted to play the game legit. And you play with other kids, like, well, I play 7-color fish, and because it has 7 colors, it can attack 7 times. And like, oh god!
You had those kids in your neighborhood, did you?
The ones for playing. My plastic bag that I used to cover my deck is on the field, so it protects for 1 attack. And I'm like, oh my god!
Oh dear.
So I really do appreciate these those video games keeping me in line with the rules.
Well, here's the thing, though. The video games did not always play by the rules. That
Nope.
you know, like Dark Jewel stories for the Game Boy Color.
Oh, the really early ones,
had,
yes.
Like they had this weird elemental thing where, like, if a dark attacked a light, or like if a wind attacked a fire, that certain elemental things overrode all stats, which absolutely does not exist in the game. That they just sort of made up their own things. That there were ones that Legacy of the Duelist of Memory Serves was one of the ones that played by proper rules, but then there was also all these other ones that, between that and the fact that the show for the first season didn't play by the rules, growing up as a kid and trying to figure out how the hell to play this game wasn't any easy.
So I own the game in real life, and I was one of the kids that read the rule books, right? So I looked up whenever I was a kid, why did this game play this way? And it's like, oh, because they haven't figured out the rules of the actual card game yet. And I was like, what? So basically the cards, when they were first originally sold, were just merchandise. It was not a trading card game with actual rules.
Yeah, that they were just collector's items, that it was a collectible card game more than a,
So they went from elements, override certain elements, to elements, you gain 500 attacks for fighting the other elements, to this element, if you beat it, you get stunned for a turn, to fuck the elements, attack points all that matters. So it took them a whole year to figure out how to do the card game.
I didn't even know about those iterations, but I could believe it, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Sophie, welcome in. Yeah, it's crazy, and I really had to thank Little Miss Houndoom, because I was just kind of Little Miss Houndoom was watching some of my streams and kind of just vibing, and they found me, and I was talking about how much I wanted to get back into Duel Links, but I don't have a good deck, and they helped me create a good deck, and I just started reading cards for once in my life, and the game just started making sense again, and I started having fun. I'm like, damn it, now I like Yu-Gi-Oh again. And it just so happened,
a whole new rabbit hole.
It just so happened, a week after we started really becoming friends and hanging out, I'd call us friends now. A week and a half after us hanging out, we were just playing Duel Links, and the next day it's yo, Master Duel just shadow dropped. I'm like, oh my god, awesome, got something to stream, and it's been hot right now.
Oh yeah, that you wound up in the right place at the right time with that one.
Right.
You actually got raided by Little Karibo a week or two ago, and just as someone who remembers even the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged and everything, that was a cool thing to see.
Oh yeah, yo, thanks for raiding me. Yeah, Little Karibo's really cool, yeah.
Brooklyn Rage.
Brooklyn Rage, yeah. Yeah, no, Little Karibo, the Little Karibo raid was awesome, because when you get recognized by one of your voice acting idols, right? One of the people that kept you entertained throughout your childhood, Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series, which I believe is one of the reasons that Yu-Gi-Oh! Had maintained interest at that point. Abridged series really saved a lot of animes in my eyes. They kept interest in them. The memes continuations of them, they've really deepened the fan base. Especially with that, same thing with Dragon Ball Z Abridged. It's those voice actors, because I started showing up on Taka show, and I actually have an autographed T-shirt from Takahata. Whenever I went to go to my first convention, the first piece of merch I ever got signed by anybody was from Team 4-Star, and I just was I was so nervous at the time, I fumbled it, but I was like, thank you guys for really keeping the series alive, is what I had said to them at that point. And to go to that point, to interacting with these giants through VTubing,
full circle.
My God, it's a dream come true, because I've always wanted to do this.
Yeah, and you mentioned voice acting, that, like I said, you're always getting into things when you're playing the games, but just as you sort of just did, that you can slip real easily into good old Joey Wheeler, and you do that with a lot of your games, and that voice acting in general is something that you're very interested in. Do you have any memories of when you first said or realized, ooh, this is something I want to do?
It's probably around my first talent show that we had in middle school. I actually have never told this story, so this will actually be a really good exclusive here for Vtuber Talk.
Oh boy, oh boy.
I was originally gonna get in a band. I had a guitar, and we were practicing at my friend's house down the road, and we were gonna do the middle school band. And eventually we all got cold feet because we sucked. We only know one song, and it was awful. And I played like 2 notes. It was like ding, 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 ding.
Well, at least you all recognized that you sucked and stopped yourselves before getting on stage.
Yes, we knew that we were gonna get laughed at, so we just stopped. Okay, we could feel the cring in the room, so we disbanded after like a week of being a band. And after that, I was like, I really need to find out if I have any like talents, because I don't think I have any talents. And I was just like watching, I think either Pokemon or something like that, because you know the Pokemon just start making random sounds. Like you have like Togepi, like, and I would just start doing that. I'd be like, and I'd be like, man,
I'm genuinely impressed that someone whose natural vocal range is as low as yours is able to get that high.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun.
No, I'm not even gonna try. I can't get that high.
I've always been like a funny kind of. I make my family laugh all the time. So doing voices was never. One of the things you got to do if you want to start voice acting is just kind of learn to forget about shame when it comes to your performance with voices, because any feedback that anyone gives you, like, oh man, that was awful. That's like, okay,
yeah, you got to put yourself out there.
Voice is too high, make it lower, and then the insults. Once the insults get a little bit less harsh, you're like, okay, I'm getting better. Record yourself, listen back to it. How's that sound compared to the original? It's a lot of fun to do these characters, you know?
Yeah.
I think, I'm sorry, I'm gonna finish up my thought.
Please.
I think that's when I realized that I enjoyed voice acting. Was the first time I was talking with my friends, and I think it was I think it was. I don't know what the character's voice was, but yes, actually this relates to Yu-Gi-Oh! I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because there's another fact I'm gonna throw out here that I've never told anyone before. I was the captain of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Club in middle school.
Oh my gosh.
I've never told anyone that. Don't tell anybody that.
Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Chat, don't tell anyone.
No, Chat,
Definitely
wait,
don't
no.
tell anyone.
Chat, don't clip this. So I was the captain of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Club in middle school, and we would be dueling. And as I was dueling, I would be like doing the Kaiba. I'll be doing my Kaiba voice. I'd be like, I draw out of my deck, and they were laughing. They loved it. They loved all of it. And I was like, draw your last. I was getting into it. I was like characterizing, like, draw your last pathetic card, Yugi. And they're like, that is really good. And I was like, oh, really? And I would just continue doing it. And they would have a laugh, and I would have a laugh. And that's the moment I knew. Probably more like my freshman year or sophomore year, because I was freshman and sophomore year. I still had a Yu-Gi-Oh! Club. That was when I officially knew that I was like, okay, this is my talent. I can do voices. I can jump into a character.
That's so cool. And the fact that the spark for all that, of all things, was actually Yu-Gi-Oh! Like you said, you hadn't shared that before. I didn't know that that's where that question was going to lead.
I kind of went off on a tangent because I was kind of thinking of my own, like, when did I know that I wanted to do, like I was good at this, or like decent enough to keep practicing and develop a voice and find what range is, and that was it.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I have a couple friends that are actually into voice acting as professionals, and it's an area that I considered actually for myself for a time.
You have a nice voice. You can definitely do it.
Thank you. That I'm very familiar with doing just, the funny voices, entertaining the family. That's the type of thing that I did a lot. My choice to not pursue that particular path was more of being a voice actor is really stressful, and like having to constantly get gigs. And I was just like, I don't know if I would want to live that lifestyle. So that's sort of what caused me to not do that. I didn't try Toga because I know my voice can't safely and comfortably hit that note. It's not a thing of embarrassment. It's like, I know my vocal cords and I know I shouldn't go there. Oh,
there you go. That's
Sorry,
great.
Everyone. This is now just a Pokemon yelling stream.
That was great. That was great.
Wheezing.
Coughing. Wheezing. I can't do wheezing. See, you can do wheezing. Wheezing. That's as good as I got. But yeah, like Pokemon, that's a good way to start. Like, just mimic Pokemon voices because they all have their own personality to them. And they only say one freaking word.
Only one
it's
thing.
Their name. But like you can say it endlessly. You don't have to worry about how they say everything else. You can work towards that. Just get it
with that
get
one
a
word.
base. Yes, get a base with that one word. Like, find out if your voice can do that. And just fucking. There you go. And then just keep doing that. That's my biggest tip for practicing right there.
Yeah, just go places with your voice. That imitation is the best place to start, and then it's from there finding, all right, what are the voices that you can do most comfortably, most easily, and trying to craft your own voice from there. That everything begins as something else because everything's been done to an extent, but it's, finding where your voice and where you as an actor are able to go most naturally and comfortably, and then really growing off of that. And obviously you want to keep experimenting, keep trying new things. Don't just get stuck in that one lane that is most comfortable. But when you start, that's where to start, I think. Not everyone can do the same voices, and that's okay. I can't do a Yugi, but I can do a good Joey. I can't do it like, Kaiba, I draw a card. I can't do that as well as like Seth Green or Mim. Mimcubius, I can't do it like as good as him. Oh yeah, no,
like, my
Mim is uncanny.
Oh man, you promised, you told me. I can do that one pretty good. So you got to know your strengths and your weaknesses when it comes to that kind of stuff. However, I'm lazy. I've never gotten an official voice role in anything because I've not applied to anything because I'm too afraid to put my voice out there. Because when you apply for things on like casting call, people can hear all your auditions, and I'm super nervous about that because I listen to everyone else's, and I'm like, I can't compete with that. Not even gonna try. So I get stage fright like that too.
I'm banking on becoming. We'll hear your voice, man. That I think you've got something, and like if you don't think you're ready yet, that's one thing. But I think you're gonna get there. I hope you get there. Banking on Twitch just carrying me until I got like 500,000 followers, and then I don't have to ask to apply. I can just apply to like base level roles. That's one way to do it. That's the long con. That's why I'm doing all of it, just for entry level voice acting work. That's the long game. Junk thinking big brain, going so big brain that it's just all right. How do I get into brain from VTubing and getting big there? There you go. I think those two work well together, like anime voice acting and VTubing. Like you already know how to play a character. You already know how to do mouth sync because it like kind of does it for you. But yeah. And actually, there have been a couple cases where like HoloLive talents have been starting to be cast as bit parts in Japan just for actual anime. So it's a way to start, and obviously there's several VAs who have actually gone the reverse and are now getting into VTubing. So there's already a whole bunch of crossover, and it's fun to see things go in both directions there. Right. Yeah, speaking of those kind of big talent agencies, I submitted like an application for BIGBAND. I think like a week or 2 days or so before the official applications went up. So if that happens, that'll be interesting. Yeah, that's always a gamble. It's a gamble, but it's also a really cool thing. And obviously, the VTuber space is very unlike traditional acting and entertainment spaces because sometimes when you get your big break, that you aren't gonna be the same person that you were, and that usually it's actor has been cast in movie and that it is actor and that it is publicized that it is actor. But in some cases you have things where one goes away and then the other appears, and if but that you can't usually say it, that it's the Fight Club rule of don't talk about it. And that's one of the most unique and quirky things, and I can understand, especially at the higher levels, that sometimes just for privacy, that's a practical way to do it. But it's just an interesting dynamic that doesn't really exist in other entertainment fields. Speaking of like large entertainers and changing the way you are as you develop as a person, obviously people change all the time. Good or bad, people are changing. They don't change fundamentally. That's my opinion. People fundamentally don't ever change. The characteristics that
their base core values will never change unless they want them to. But as far as entertainment coming as a personality, I want to kind of be the person. Eventually, my end goal is I love helping people reach connections with each other, and I love getting people to work together on projects, and I love creating something with that, like those connections. So if I ever get like super huge, I'm sorry, when I get super huge,
that's the spirit.
Never say if, always when. When I get big, like 100,000 followers, I want to still scan through up and coming talents and people like me who are on the cusp of becoming really great. And I want to reach out and help those people, because I feel like that's the worst position to be in. A little bit harder when you're not found. You know, you get in the 1 to 2 average viewers.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks, right? Like, we've all been there. I've been there. We've all been there. We've all streamed to 1 to 2 people. I think it's worse when you're on the cusp of like, oh, I'm at the 30 and 40, or the 20s to 40 range, because that sucks. You're not quite big. You're not quite small. You're like in this purgatory. Oh, it's awful. I hate it. And I would love to reach down and kind of like evaluate people for who they really are, because being seen is so hard these days.
Absolutely.
So I think that's the one thing I'll always try to stick with my values, is to help the underdog. It's rough there at the bottoms, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still there. I'm not a big dog.
I think we actually have a fair bit in common there in terms of we like connecting people, we like creating connections for others, and building things that involve people. That my big thing for my first anniversary was this giant charity stream. One of the things that, like we said, you're organizing a big Yu-Gi-Oh tournament this weekend, and one of the things like I did for you, even when we chatted earlier this week, that now that I have that this is episode 49 actually of Vtuber Talk, that the big 5-0 is going to be on Saturday. Really excited for that. But it's now at the point where I'm able to start introducing guests to each other. That, you know, you mentioned you like City Pop, and I said, oh, have you heard of Yoro Yo-Yo? She's someone that I've had. She was a while back. I think it was around episode 20 or something. But I distinctly remember one of the big things that she's really into that isn't as common is City Pop. So I was like, hey, maybe you should check her out. And it's something that I've been consciously trying to do, is just I like seeing friends become friends with other friends. And since I've been so fortunate to talk to so many people, it's something that I'm trying to do, because I, like you, enjoy seeing people meet others that have those shared interests. I like being able to
not only that,
together.
I like seeing people succeed.
Yes.
I've always wanted to help people from a young age, and seeing people succeed, not because of me, because they don't succeed because of me. I just give them the tools for themselves to succeed. If they want them, if they ask for them. I'm not going around being like, I hooked you up, you're welcome. It's like, hey, if they're looking for someone to edit clips, I'll send them that. I'll send the person that I know that edits clips really well. Hey, I noticed that you need like I forced. So I don't want to. I'm not gonna say anything about it, but I know someone who needed a new logo, and I kind of forced them to interact with the person that makes really good logos, and they got a logo, and they're gonna debut it pretty soon. And it's like official. It's crisp. It helps the stream look a little bit more nice. Small things like that add up to a larger whole when it comes to creating an image. That's the kind of crap that I love.
Mm-hmm.
And because they do it themselves. They build their own brand recognition. They build their own content quality. And I'm just the person that points them in the right direction. I literally, like the old telemarketers, you'd be like, I'm calling to go to the barbershop. Oh, okay, I'll connect you right away. Takes the cord, connect it to another hole. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
be that kind of centralized computing system that just plops it into different areas.
Mm-hmm.
I love that crap. I love it.
Yeah, and it's something that even outside of VTuber Talk that I try to do in just my other areas of life, and it's a very unique type of satisfying to see that, of just, you know, even if nobody apart from you and the other party knows, because it's not even something, like you said, that we're not trying to put our names out there by doing it. It's just something that, you know, we want to help, because you know, usually both parties are people that you're familiar with anyways, and it's like, all right, I'm friends with these folks and I want to see my friends succeed anyways, and that it's a rising tide lifts all ships mentality in general.
I used to be, well, I still am. We're not as active as we used to be. So I actually have a belt buckle. Let me stand up here. I actually have a belt buckle.
Yes,
a kinetic belt buckle right here. I used to be part of, and I still am, a VR chat like streamer group that used to do that a lot. They used to do a lot of VR chat streaming and 3D model stuff, but like half the group is active now. Not as active as they used to be. We all had the mentality that one succeeds, we all succeed. Let's get everyone partnered. So before Twitch changed up their kind of modus operandi when it came to raids and counting towards a percentage for viewership, we would plan times to raid each other. We would be like, okay, what time are you streaming? Okay, you're streaming at 10 o'clock. Okay, I'll stream at 8. I'll stream for 2 hours, and then I'll raid my viewers into you. And because we're all part of the same stream team, build each other up, get partnered, get that weight off your shoulders so you can do your creative freedom stuff a lot easier. And I feel like that's what I want to do with just people in general. Is just get people partnered. Because the second that pressure is alleviated from you, you can do anything without fear of failure.
Yeah, and it makes a difference. It actually, I don't quote me on this, but if memory serves, I saw Fuji from Twitch, the guy that does Discord reactive images. You'll actually see him in a fair number of chats, makes a lot of really cool tools. I remember seeing him tweet sometime late last year saying that the raids do count toward viewership average. That did, like I said, I'm 90% sure I remember this, so I want to go back and look to be that 100%, but I vaguely remember him saying that it was an urban myth that they don't.
Well, the reason I'm saying that it doesn't, whenever I first applied for a Twitch partnership, I was declined. I actually got declined before I got my partnership a week later. That's a very interesting story. I sent in my Twitch application. I hit the 3 quals. I hit the qualification. Stream hours, stream days, 75 average viewers. Boom, submit the application. Send it in. A day later, you have been declined. What? You have been declined. Good day. You can try again later. Try again in the month or something. So I'm like, wait a second. I hit the average. What do you mean? They're like, oh, we just changed. They literally told me, they're like, we changed how raids work. Raids don't count towards, this is what it was just now starting. So they may have fixed it.
So maybe I saw this at a different time then.
It probably is fixed now. It's probably better. But it's probably like how many you hold past a certain point count as a viewer? I don't know. But I raid. The raid percentage is like, oh, well, with the raids factored in, your average isn't high enough. I had to go through every stream and click host percentage, raid percentage, and deduct it. I had to do real math, chat. I had to use real math for this. It was awful. I had to use math. And it came out to 77, 78. 78, I remember that number. Sent it back to them, yelling and screaming at them, like crying because I got declined because I've been working at this for actually it's kind of embarrassing. It was only 6 months. So I was really being a big baby because some people didn't get Twitch partnership for years and they're still working at it. But I was there. I was tasting the fruit. And then they reevaluated and go, oh yeah, you're good. Thanks for doing the math that we should have done. Here you go. You're partnered. I'm like, oh my God, thank you.
Sometimes showing your work pays off. Sometimes showing the work on your math homework.
Sometimes being aggressive and being like, no, you messed up. I hit all the qualifications. Here's my rate percentages. Here's my Discord numbers. Here's everything like blah, blah, blah. I deserve this. Here's why. Sometimes you gotta sell yourself.
Yeah.
They want their partners to be representative of a hardworking brand. Mm-hmm. And I told them, basically, like, I need this. And that's why I was pissed. Because they swept the rug right underneath my feet. And they'll do that all the time to people.
And goodness knows, if you're not going to advocate for yourself, no one's going to do it for you.
Math, disgusting. Yeah, and I'm kind of complaining because 75 is the new average, right? Back in the day, it was like 500 for a partnership.
Oh yeah. For a while they would reach out to partners that it wasn't even an application thing. It was like they would come to you.
Right. Twitch ambassadors. Like I know Takahata's a Twitch ambassador. He's been in the long haul. A lot of people like that. But yeah, Twitch is. I love Twitch is like your brother. You know, Twitch is like your brother or sister. You love them, but sometimes they annoy the out of you. You know. Like sometimes you just want to punch them in the face, but you love them at the end of the day. Like they'll have things that irk you, but at the end of the day, they'll be there for you, hugging you and feeding you like cake. It's amazing. But they piss me off sometimes. Like,
oh, you're not alone. You are not alone.
God.
Yeah, people gripe a lot about Twitch, and to be fair, they mess up a lot of stuff, but at the same time, they do get a lot right, and it's, the platform is what it is because they do a lot right.
There's nothing better than what we got right now. It is the best streaming platform in the world in terms of live streaming video quality content. YouTube, if YouTube crunched its budget and tried to take a page out of Twitch's book, I'd be out of a job.
Yeah,
hands down.
Just waiting for them to get proper raids. I think that they've started like sort of a beta rollout of that, but it's not quite clear, and there's a whole bunch of functionality things, the emotes, especially the animated emotes nowadays. By the way, follower emotes are finally a thing for everybody.
Yeah,
cool.
5 follower emotes and Twitch animated emotes. I'm very excited they're rolling out those things. They're understanding that emotes are fundamental to content creators' income. No one's going to subscribe to you without emotes, you know?
Yep. Yeah, and you've got a good number. We've already seen them several times in the chat. Yes, there we go.
Chat, can we get that? Hold on. I'll just throw a random one out there. Can we get some junky chads in chat, please? Can we get some junky chads, please? Thanks, guys.
I saw a bunch of junk wigglies going around earlier. And
yeah, give me some junky chads.
I love
chat.
me wigglies. See, Cyberman with the junky rat as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, there they go. There they go.
Yeah, those the chads I like to see, baby.
Yeah.
Show me them chads. Oh yeah. See, I really gotta thank my artist, DOG_RB. Nails it every time. They do all my emotes. I still have, I think, like 14 emote slots in combination with tier 2s, tier 3s, tier 1, and follower emotes all together since the subathon, and I'm still filling those out. So it's a lot of fun. That's my gun emote as well. So emotes play a fundamental role in if people are going to subscribe to you or not. It is literally like the reason people sub to you, aside from really liking your content. And it's cut and dry like that. So if they don't have the opportunity to get those emotes, you're bleeding them dry. I think Twitch knows that.
And it's something that, you go into other chats and you see a cool emote and you click on the emote. It's like, ooh, who made this?
They added that functionality like a year ago where you can click on it and see where it comes from now. And they're smart. They know now.
Yeah. Now, what is your favorite emote that you have, and what is your favorite emote that isn't yours?
My favorite emote that I have is my pathetic emote. It's my new favorite because it's Principal Skinner. But I just kind of, it's actually right there, Cyberman.
Yeah, I see it.
The junk pathetic emote is my favorite emote because because I basically can do that face right now with my model where it's just like pathetic. And it combos so well with the gun emote, but also the flex. The flexes are really good. Things that combo well with other emotes are amazing. From my channel, that's probably my favorite. And from other channels, Buff Pup has some of the best emotes I've ever seen. Buff Pup's animated emotes, when it comes to like the Buff Pup hype, here, I'll send them in chat. This one is really good.
I've seen that one around.
Really good. You got the ones where people are writing notes. I love these. And you got the hype emotes. Like there's one from BB's Houndoom stream. I'm trying to get myself one of these, like a rave emote. I love those kind of emotes that bring hype together when you have a hype moment.
Yeah.
I have a button that I press on my stream deck. It's called the Coom Zone. And it plays really hype music, and then that's when the chat goes wild, right? Everyone's spamming their emotes. You get to see everyone come together, really rally behind something, and just be hype and have energy for something. And those emotes are the things that bring people together. The animated hype emotes. People screaming and the raves and the flexes. It's badass. But probably going to be a tie between Little Miss Houndoom's rave emote, and Buff Pup's hype emote. I love them.
Yeah,
So
those
cute.
are both really solid.
Got a weakness for cute things.
Yeah, don't we all, man? Don't we all? That just, get yourself a good, cute animated emote, and it's, seeing those fly in chat, especially when you tune in someone who's got just a bunch of viewers. That's the type of energy. That's part of how I wound up sort of getting into VTubers as a whole, actually. That it's a story I've told a couple of times that, late 2020, I'm somebody who, prior to a couple of years ago, because they haven't been viable. Oh, thank you, Junk, for the follow.
I don't have to call it out during stream. Why did you call it?
It was right there. I couldn't not.
You could have ignored it. I literally was thinking, should I click the button? It's gonna be really awkward if I click the button now.
We'll tell you what. I'll bury it because we just jumped into talking so fast that I haven't actually thanked anyone else who's really followed. So Kamori Mojo, Otaku Crazy Chick 175, Ganid 01, DJ Sulfurous, thank you for the follows.
Hey, I know those people. Those are some of my regulars. Hey.
Yeah, thanks for coming along for the ride. But yeah, so I used to do a lot of live event work, anime conventions, concerts, and obviously anime conventions and concerts have not been viable for a couple of years now. And it was in late 2020 when Hololive English rolled out, and I tuned into the debuts, and I'm not into VTubers. I don't know anything about them, but I've heard of them, and whatever, this is apparently a thing, I'll check it out. And something about seeing chat zoom just clicked in my brain and made me feel that type of energy that I usually get from conventions and things of that nature.
It's like a mini concert.
Exactly. And I hadn't had that in months. And I was like, I know it's not the same. It's different seeing chat versus, hearing a roaring crowd. But dang, it was the best that I had felt in a while. And that was sort of that first hook of what got me into VTubing.
You want me to give you a secret? Trade VTuber Talks only secret, another exclusive here. But how building a community is, people say, oh, I can't get people in my Discord. I can't get people to follow me. What do I do, right? Building that hype community is so hard, and it is. I think on average, when I play a game that I don't usually play a lot, 40 average viewers, which is decent. I want to get to 75. That's my goal for this year. The hardest part is getting people in your Discord. Getting people in your Discord.
You always, I've noticed that you and others that are really successful, one of the things that you always say is, thank you for the follow. By the way, you can join our Discord.
That's it. That's the secret right there.
Call to action.
So here, you get it. So in psychology, Chad, I don't know if you know this about me. I have a psychology degree. I have a bachelor's in psychology, a minor in public relations, okay? So you have to it's called the foot in the door technique.
Mm-hmm.
It is psychologically proven. If you get someone to do an easy task, if someone's already followed you, if you get someone to spend channel points to say hello, it is scientifically proven that if they do something small and easy, and you ask them to do something a little bit more difficult, like joining a Discord, they are 50% more likely to do so. Or it's like 50% or something like that. But they are more likely to do something when they've already done something for you. So when everyone follows, that's when I ask them, would you like to join the Discord? Because you've already gone out of your way to follow on Twitch. You might as well join Discord. Because we're way more hyped there than we are here. You get all the Discord emotes. Like it's science. And it's the best way to hype. Because the people that are in the Discord are the people that I want my streams. They're the ones who are going to chill out with me after the streams and talk to me. And we're going to give me the ideas for streams. They're going to be like, hey, you should look out for this Discord bot. Hey, I really like your stream today. Here's some things that could be done better. They're the ones that are going to give you the real opinions.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I mentioned this to you.
Secret.
That I don't have a Discord by choice because I did professional community management for a bit over 5 years. I work for a game developer by day, and I started with community management. I now do QA and a bit of production, but community management was where I started. And I ran the official Discord, and I ran social channels. And it burnt me the heck out that I asked to be moved into QA, and fortunately the company I work with is very flexible, and that I had done a lot of good work and that they were willing to let me do that and transfer me over. But one of the first decisions that I made about VTuber Talk in deciding that I wanted this show to be something for me that is I put everything in for my guests. The guests are what matter to me. I, at the end of the day, don't really care about my own growth that much. And I know that if I had a Discord, my growth would be better. I know that a Discord and cultivating a community, like you were talking about, is vital and it can go so far.
Right.
I never want to run a Discord again. Well, I just don't. And it was a choice that I made. And
I understand.
I'm very happy with that choice, to be frank. And
we just hit. We're about to hit 1,200 Discord members, right? I think we're 25 away from 1,200. When I started
Discord,
streaming,
folks.
Discord.gg/junkwave. When we started the Discord, we had nothing. I built it from the ground up. Someone told me to build a Discord about 3 months into my streaming career, and I did. I started it and never plugged it. When I started doing that foot in the door technique, I think we grew like 500 in like 3 months. So like,
makes a difference.
It helps when you get started that way. And plugging those Discords, managing that community, it's hard. I had to start hiring on Discord managers because like I just added a bot to my Discord that like makes you react to the rules. So that way, before you get in, so that way if you mess up, I have complete control to kick you because you read the rules. Like, you can't be angry. You gotta think about these things.
But someday I might make one, but for now for what my goals are for my show and my channel, I'm comfortable not having it, but I will fully say that if you are a content creator who wants to make it big, that if you want to really grow, if you are looking to make this something that you get income from, whether it be, your full-time thing or just something sustainable on the side, making a Discord and doing this type of stuff, plugging the Discord, having those bots, having good mods, that is absolutely the route you should take. Do not follow my example. I know I'm doing something wrong and that's my choice. But if you want to grow, do what Junk does, not me.
No. By all means, you're doing your own path. You have your own goals. You're succeeding in your own way. You just don't want the same things that I do. And in my eyes, you're doing everything right. Speaking of Discord mods that I quote unquote hired, there's one of them right now. They don't like attention, but it's Bunu Bubba. This leads me to my next point, is the amount of resources you need as a streamer to succeed is astronomical. The only reason I've gotten this far is because I know you get to know people that you can rely on to make things for you at like short notice, right? Like I Master Duel came out, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and I wanted to duel disc asset for my avatar. So I was like, boom, here's $40. Can you draw me a dual disc in under an hour? And they're like, okay. And they got it done.
Oh, that's impressive.
Well, yes, it's amazing. I love the asset. Here, I'll bust it out. But yeah, they got that to me really, really quick. And it just goes to show you that having those resources it's super important, It's important. See, there it is. A little dual disc.
Yeah, I love that. And you've also been using it for a functional purpose, which is something I've seen in like Magic the Gathering streams and other streams, that you use it as a hand blocker.
That way, to block the hand of the cards
you
at the bottom,
don't have
like
stream snipers or anything. That's a good play. It's a good play.
I think it took them less than an hour, but they did that. That was super hot. So having those people that you can count on standby, super important. Not everyone's gonna be able to be there for you, but if it works out that way, that's fine. Of course, you gotta pay them. Like I said, $40. You gotta pay. Don't forget to pay your artist. I'm really bad at
your artists,
forgetting.
Folks. Pay and tip your artists.
I'm really bad about forgetting. Bunu, all my artists, they'll always tell you, like, I'll always ask, did I pay you? Because I forget. Because I'm moving so quickly, right? But yeah, Bunu. I'm gonna stop calling out Bunu because Bunu hates being called out. But Bunu, along with all my mods, A+ people, they're more friends than moderators. We hang out. Sometimes we hang out pretty often, but it's been busy since I've really gotten into the swing of like streaming again. I'm in my my growth period right now, I think. And people are always afraid to talk about that kind of stuff when it comes to numbers and streams and all that stuff. But circling back on Discord before I lose my point, Discord is really my way to actually talk to people and connect with them. I tell people like, hey, if you want to hang out with me, best place to do it is in the Discord. I say good morning to everyone every day, and I say good night to everyone every day. If people are saying stuff or talking about Yu-Gi-Oh in here, I'll pop in and talk about Yu-Gi-Oh. And my DMs are always open. I tell people all the time, you have any questions about VTubing? Ask me the question. I'll give you my honest answer. I'll point you into resources. Like I am transparent. I want people to succeed. If they have the talent for it, I can get them the resources. Like that's what I use Discord for. And that's what Discord is great for, because every time I get art, I'm like, artist by this person. Person doing my model is this person. And I've had like 2 or 3 people since I've started streaming tell me they've gotten model done by the same person. And like that is amazing. That is amazing that I can in some way be a part of that journey. That's amazing. I love it.
Tsubasa Yozora channel, thank you for the follow. But yeah, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier of, connecting friends with friends. And in this case, it's, helping people out with advice or saying, hey, if you're looking for a model, this is someone you can go to that they did mine. You can see that they do good work. And, you made a point to...
I'm going to have to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I have to attribute Randon for that. Because Randon Nearing, Orc VTuber, salaryman, rides bikes. I saw his model. I saw him post his Pokemon, his Warcraft Orc impression on Twitter. Loved his model. I was like, that's the style I want. Talked to him. And then I just kind of was like, I like your model. I want to know who you got it from, because I'm going to get it from that same person. And I need your help becoming a VTuber. And they were just like, okay. So I kind of latched on like a leech and never let go. But they pointed me in the right direction. And I'll always do anything I can for them. I send them the tea and snacks and all that kind of stuff. We are on friend basis. And it's amazing that all it took was reaching out and being humble. And that's why, going back to that point before I interrupted you, that's why I extend that invitation, because I look at him like kind of like an older brother in that terms.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing about the VTubing community as a whole, is that obviously, being polite goes along.
I think Wuzzy Dan is actually in the chat. Wuzzy Dan's the person who did the art for my model, and we'll be doing the art for my casual model in like half a year, because I'm getting one done. So yeah, Wuzzy Dan is lurking in the chat, I think. Amazing artist, very popular. So yeah. Sorry,
awesome.
I like.
It's all good, man. We're both really eager. We both are eager. We're both talking a lot. We're both, stepping on each other's toes a little bit. I see it as a good thing. It means we're both engaged. It means we're both excited. Don't worry about it.
Right.
I
won't interrupt you anymore.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure I'm going to interrupt you plenty of times. That's strange. I thought I already saw that. Oh, sorry. That's right. So thank you for the YouTube subscription. My channel is not monetized. Once again, not a choice. It's not a subscriber here on Twitch, because that's not possible. Yeah, so like you were saying with Randon, just in general, the VTubing community, by and large, is a very generous one. And obviously, you need to be professional, you need to be humble, you need to be polite, and know where and when are the appropriate ways to do that type of outreach. But
oh yeah, I mean,
like
it was a give and take.
Oh, always.
It was a give and take. Like I had Brandon had never streamed before. They had their model. I had streamed before. I don't have my model. I was able to give them tips upon tips upon tips. OBS settings. Here's the artist you need for layouts. Here's what you need for this. I think Wuzzy actually got the background taken care of, but here's what you need to do for this. Usually stream for this long. Just small stuff like that. And they pointed me to artists and general VTube tips, like, here's how much a model cost. Here's how much, like, here's the tracking. Here's what's best for tracking. So by and large, it was an even trade, I feel. Yeah, you don't go into a mindset like you mentioned. Don't go into a mindset just kind of like expecting everything for nothing. Because that's not how the world works.
No. And honestly, that you shouldn't go in expecting really anything at all. That, some people aren't really into that type of collaboration. That's fine. But on the other hand, as long as you're polite, there's nothing wrong with asking. Goodness knows, my channel, Vtuber Talk, does not exist without the guests. That everything I do, it's me doing outreach and saying, hey, I'd like to have you on my show. I have this template that I, wrote before my first show, and I've sort of iterated on it a little bit over time. Right. But by and large, it's the same thing that my first couple of guests got, the one that you got, however many weeks ago when I first reached out to you, Junk, that it's, polite greeting, say who you are, and just understanding also that, not everyone's gonna want to interact, that some people are busy, some people don't want to be interviewed, that it's just something they're not comfortable with, that there's a lot of different factors, and, sometimes I get declinations, and that's fine. Sometimes I don't get a response at all, and that's fine. And, being able to take things like that in stride, but also knowing how to present yourself in a way that will make others open to working with you, but then at the same time, always being open to working with them and seeing what you can do, and understanding that it's not like a dry business relationship, but you want to be able to give and take.
Right. I'll give you an example. I'm not going to name drop because I'm not going to name drop. There was a person who contacted me about possibly showing up to their debut or like a stream before their debut. And, I knew that from the get-go, I'm not going to get anything out of it. Like, of course I'm not. Like, they're debuting. They've never streamed before. It would mean a lot to them, right? And I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, when is it gonna be? I can pull up a time. I'll see if I can drop by for like an hour or something. Just hang out or whatever. And I'm like, okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I'm like, no problem. And then I got the, oh, by the way, could you get me on this person's stream? And I was like, you had to ruin it. You had to ruin the transaction that we were having. The interaction we were having that was so wholesome. Like, you're already reaching out, but you're using me as a stepping stone to get to someone above me?
How to not do the foot in the door proposition.
That sucked. Like, I'm already doing something for you that I see as a kind gesture. Like, I'm taking time out of my streaming schedule to accommodate you and show up on your special day. And you okay, I got that. Can you give me more? It's like, oh, wow. Marty, I already get nothing from this. Like, you want to take more? Like, you have to know when enough is enough.
Yeah. Like I said, foot in the door is one thing, but you need to know what type of things to ask for, and just in that particular instance, that like you said, using someone as a stepping stone is never a good move. Never a good move.
I mean, no one likes to talk about it, but streamers, like, there's certain streams we just won't show up to. If the quality is bad, if the layout isn't good, like, there's a lot of stuff like that represents who we are as people, as a brand. What am I willing to show up on as a quote unquote brand? Because I do have a brand. My image, the vaporwave background, all of this is a brand. And if I can see to putting myself in a scenario where I fail on purpose and I let someone else super succeed me for no benefit, like, that's just not business smart. And I hate to think about it. Like, I do this for fun, but I also do this as a business. I do this to grow, and I do this to accumulate more so I can give back later. And I just don't see how that's feasible when you do things like that to me. I mean, to get a little real, you can't just take without giving.
Yeah, and like I said, that different people, different, just no two relationships are the same, regardless if it's a business relationship, a personal relationship, anything like that. There's nothing that's going to be 100% standard and consistent, but there are certain common factors that you can do to figure out, how to act with others. It feels like a weird thing to say, but unfortunately, sometimes things like that aren't obvious to some people, and
well, yeah, I think it's a social skill, and I think a lot of people, especially in this day and age, during the pandemic, a lot of these younger adults, these older teenagers, they're getting into it 18, 19, which is fine. That's when I got into trying to get into streaming when I was in college, about 18, 19. I didn't have any social skills. Freshman year of college, tried to get into streaming, failed miserably, got banned off YouTube because I didn't know how to properly use a platform, and just awkward and terrible time. Waited a couple years, developed a little bit more socially, got my VR headset, and tried again, and I had much more success because I was able to know the do's and don'ts. I feel like you need that in any scenario to succeed, let alone streaming, which is an extremely social platform. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and like you said, this is learned stuff that we didn't just wake up one day knowing this. That it is something that you figure out. But at the same time, if you ever want tips and stuff, that people are going to tell you, because we don't like interacting with people, just like you mentioned earlier, that it's not fun for us when we have to have those weird, awkward interactions. That if you're ever wondering, oh, how should I approach someone, or should I approach someone? What is the correct tone?
Ask some pet peeves that all the streamers have, right? Like the person that comes into your stream and says, "Oh, hey, X is live right now. I'm gonna go watch them instead." Like, why would you say that in the chat? Yeah, why would that? Or you come into a chat and say, "I'm not gonna watch because blank." It's like, I don't need to hear these things, and it's not acceptable socially to go around telling people these things. Like, it just hurts everyone's feelings involved. Like, there's so many scenarios just in Twitch alone that it's not like, how many times, chat, would you like to hear if you were streaming? Oh, I'm not gonna watch you because X is online right now. I'm gonna go watch them instead. Hey, everyone, you should watch them too. Like, that's awful.
And not to dwell on the negative too much, because like I said, by and large, the VTuber community and the streaming community it's a lot more positive than negative. But
of course,
goodness knows,
these are outliers.
Put in your due diligence. These are pitfalls that can be avoided, and if you're ever unsure, like ask your friends, or find ways to tastefully ask permission. That some people don't like being DM'd just totally randomly, so maybe it'd be like in the Discord saying, "Hey, is it okay if I DM you?" And like usually if I'm doing that, I'll say like, is it okay if I DM you for business purposes and stuff like that? And it's sometimes an evaluation of the person that you're going to talk to, and sort of some of it does boil down to intuition over time. Sometimes intuition can be wrong, to be fair. But at the same time, if you take your time and are thoughtful and learn, that intuition can actually get you a long way. And it usually is right if you've trained yourself through successful interactions, because you'll start to notice the commonalities between your successes and realize, oh, okay, I did this, that, the other, and this was good. And there is a very clear feedback loop, shall we say.
I think in addition to having that intuition from years of experience, you have to have confidence, of course. I actually got on the Weary 101 just because I was streaming proactively for like 3-4 months, and the Weary 101 was opening up auditions and all this kind of cool stuff at the time, or something similar to that. And now don't go doing this, because it's not going to work. I guarantee. Do not do this because I said it. I'm going to say that again. Do not do this because I said it.
Here's your warning, folks.
I DM'd Taka on Twitter, and I was like, what do I got to do to get on the bar? Love your show. I want to be on it. That worked for me because I had numbers at the time. I had a decent Twitter following, and I had the confidence, and I had the VTuber model. I had all those things, and it just so happened to work because they had something they were going to do. And now I love going to the bar all the time. Every time Taka invites me, I love going. I love having a good time, and I've gotten really comfortable being there. And I really am appreciative of that, to be able to be with the really the top of the indies. It's a lot of fun to just see those giants and be at their footsteps.
but that's you knowing yourself, knowing what Taka might be looking for. And also, it's sometimes just a matter of timing. That my guess is if someone were to do that nowadays, he'd probably say no, that's probably a different time for Taka as well. That people's situations change over time. And, sometimes people don't have a lot of requests like that. And so one might stick out. But, as people get bigger and bigger and bigger, you have to realize they're probably getting these types of messages on the daily, and that they're probably just canceling them out.
I'm sad. I don't get weirdo messages. I don't get like show me your feet pic messages like all these other big streamers. I get like have a nice day, Junk. I don't get any weirdo messages like the rest of everybody else. Why do I get the weird messages? I would love to laugh at those things. No, this isn't an invitation, but I'm just upset. No one sends me weird invitation, like weird messages, like Little Miss Houndoom gets. I don't get like, hey, you look real cute today on stream. I don't get any of these messages. Jeez, I'm upset. All these, that's how you know I haven't made it yet. You know you make it as a content when you start getting the weird messages,
Oh yeah, I've seen some screenshots, and I'm thankful that I have not gotten anything weird yet. And once again, chat, that is not an invitation to send weird things, but it is a reality that just as your audience gets bigger, that in any group of people, the larger the group, statistically, it's more likely that you're gonna have a bad actor or two, and that just comes with numbers. It doesn't matter if it's an organization as it gets bigger, just statistically it's going to happen. As a community gets bigger, statistically it's going to happen. As a fan base gets bigger, it's going to happen, and you just deal with it when you have to.
Right. Happens.
It does, but I don't like saying on the negative, but this is important stuff, folks. That this is still meaningful things.
There's good things that happen with it too. Like for Randon, like I randomly message Randon, and those are the cases where it doesn't work out. There's a lot of cases where it does work out. It's how you present yourself. It's how you come off as if you're genuine or not. And it's if you come off with just wanting something small, build up to it. Like, hey, I noticed your tracking was really good. What do you use for tracking? In the message, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's like, oh, I can answer that. It's quick and easy to answer. You get your foot in the door. Don't overwhelm people with questions. Awesome stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
That is easy. You can do that. Usually you'll get good replies. People want to help. If it's super easy. I've even messaged Buff Pup. Like, Buff Pup's one of the big indies, too. Because I won a 3D model in a giveaway from Tonchiyu. Tonchiyu's a really good creator. Love them. They gave me a 3D model. I have not been able to set it up because I don't know I don't know the facial caps for 3D. I don't know the program you use. It's completely different from YouTube Studio. And I don't have the Leap Motion hand stuff. But I found out all three of those things from actually asking Buff Pup, and they were nice enough to reply. Because I still think I'm not big enough to really be taken like super seriously in terms of other big streamers. I say that, but they probably don't think that way. But yeah, it just depends on your attitude. If you treat these people with respect and you value their time, if message back right away, give them time. They're probably busy, but. I know from my experience, I'm always looking to help out people that need it. I'll point you in the right direction. I'll give you my expertise.
Absolutely.
I like helping people.
Yeah, and that goes back to what you were saying earlier about, liking, just enjoying being able to connect people, help out, send the elevator back down, as the phrase goes, of just saying, all right, if I can help so someone doesn't need to reinvent the wheel, and it's not going to be this massive project or inconvenience for me, but a quick 2-sentence response can save them a couple hours or a couple $100 even. Yeah, I'll do that.
Right.
And just it's little stuff like that, and you shouldn't expect anything from the people that you ask of these things, and when you provide that type of advice, you shouldn't expect anything back from the person that you gave advice to. But what goes around does come around.
Absolutely. A pay it forward is the motto that I live by.
Mm-hmm. Didn't expect to quite go down that rabbit hole, but like I said, it's important stuff, man. It's important stuff, absolutely.
I'm gonna take a drink of water. I've been talking too much.
Please. So, outside of content creation and everything, one thing that you really enjoy that isn't, well, ever really possible to see on stream is you actually like to exercise a lot. You were actually commenting just before we went live that you took a run today and it's very cold where you live. So that run may have been ill-advised.
Oh, good and bad. I felt really good about myself because of how well I ran, but bad timing. Yes, I do enjoy exercise. It's one of the things I did before I really got into streaming. Every day, I usually every day, if not every other day, I would go out running, say 3 miles a day.
Wow.
Do some pull-ups, do some sit-ups, do some push-ups. Go home feeling accomplished. It's the easiest thing you can do to feel the most accomplished. It's just a mood booster all around. I personally, in the sense of you should not be trying to better yourself emotionally. Well, you should always emotionally, mentally and physically, they go hand in hand. Your mentality will go the same as your physicality. The worse you are physically, the worse you're gonna be off mentally, and then emotionally, you'll come up as a result. And you know, even if you're sad, you can go running. I've always been like kind of, you know, a moody teen. I did not grow up in the best of circumstances, but I had an MP3 player and I lived on a very long street. So every day after school, if I was stressed, go on a run. I run away the bad emotions, and you know, you get the physical exercise, and it just worked. It kept me healthy my entire life, and I still do it to this day. I'm planning out runs and go to the gym now. I just recently started lifting weights this year. I've never lifted weights. I've only done free weight, and I'm having a blast. It's making everything better. I sleep better. My streams are better. My voice is better. Literally everything improves as you improve physically. It's amazing.
That's awesome. That I do push-ups and sit-ups and some basics like that. I've never enjoyed running. That just going as far back as like
really?
middle school. That just I've been good at running. That I've always been. I wouldn't necessarily say like super fit, but I'm a pretty skinny guy, and I was able to run really fast when I was young. I just never enjoyed it, and I always dreaded whenever they would make us run a mile and time us. And I got good times. I remember like in 7th or 8th grade, I ran a sub 8 mile, which, you know, in middle school, that's a pretty good time. And I just always
hit, bro. It's
change. Yeah, when you're adult, that's chump change,
good.
Sure. But you know, back in the day, that was pretty good. For,
I was worse in middle school. I was like a
grade,
10:30 mile.
But I never enjoyed it, so I never got into running.
I knew
that, but I try and keep up with, you know, just like a couple sets of sit-ups and push-ups, just to, you know, like you said, staying even that little bit physically active. It really goes a long way.
No, the reason I started exercising is because at a young age, you know, I realized that I grew up in a southern state in America. A lot of my family members were obese. They were all obese. My sister and I kind of told each other we're not going to wind up like that. So I knew that in middle school, if I didn't join like a sport that challenged me, because I was in the off season, I did basically nothing, just play games. If I didn't get out of that off season, I was going to be fat for the rest of my life. So I told myself I was going to join cross country, and I did. I joined it. I joined it in middle school. It got me ready for high school. I kept running it. I kept doing it. And I kept doing it. And eventually it became something I loved because I get the runner's high. I was never the fastest, but I did wind up getting medals. I placed a district, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to challenge myself in something I would normally never do, and to push myself into an uncomfortable situation and wind up ultimately comfortable with it. I love running. I still remember my coach's words to these days. They become motivation for me for the rest of my life to work hard, and they translate over into streaming. I do a lot of things that I'm not comfortable with. Editing. I just started editing TikTok videos. I just started editing my own footage. I'm editing my own OBS stuff, and I didn't want to do it because I'm not good at it. No one wants to do anything they're not good at when they first start.
Mm-hmm.
But you won't see the results, the fruits of that labor, until you start putting in work.
Yes, that for me, I was in band and I was in marching band as well.
Oh,
and
man.
That is if you don't think marching band is a sport or just athletically challenging first you have to have the breath control of playing your music. Then you have to have the breath control of playing your music while you're walking around. Then you have to have the breath control while you're playing music, while you're walking around in time, in the right place, while still playing your instrument in tune, the right notes, the right time, tonality, everything. That it is one of the most physically demanding things and mentally demanding things. You want to talk about, body and mind combining at the same time. Marching band is every part of you physically and mentally is engaged. And you want to talk about like a runner's high, a performer's high, that it is that combination of everything, whether it's the runner's high plus, performing in a band high at the same time. Plus these are usually happening, in big stadiums, crowds hyped. It is some of my favorite memories of just performing, but at the same time, you have to practice, because you have to practice all these different things, just the marching drill, the music, staying in shape, conditioning. There's all these types of things. And fortunately, I didn't have to do like a bunch of running, but there were so many other things. And that was how I stayed in shape. That was the team that I joined for high school and college, and some of my best memories, some of my best friends. And gosh, I wish there was there's a couple adult marching bands, but they're so rare. I had
someone who did cross country and they did marching band right afterwards. I don't know how they did it. Oof. They would run right from practice and immediately go over to the marching band section and just be good to go.
Like, they must have been in great shape, but I ripped their schedule, because both of those are gonna be demanding for time.
Don't know why they did it.
They must have enjoyed it, but good for them. If you enjoy it, go for it. And there's a lot of people in the VTuber community that you mentioned, Junk, that your birthday is is it next week or the week after?
It is the 9th of February. It'll be next week. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, happy almost birthday.
Thank you.
That I am, I think, about 2 or 3 years older than you. That I think you said you were turning 26. I'm 29. And weird as it is, we're on the older side of the VTuber community, so it's the type of thing that I have to remember. Oh gosh, there's a fair few people that are still in college that could be in marching band. It's the type of thing that I always try and encourage people of. If you're there, they say college is the best years of your life. College, at least for me, like, college was really good. I really enjoyed college a lot. Everything except the classes. That you can do so much cool shit if you're in college and you find the right groups and get involved. Obviously, these last couple years have not been very easy for that type of thing.
Right.
But if you're able to, there's so much cool stuff.
No, I had a blast with it. I mean, it really helps me develop socially. That's where I got a lot of my social skills. Because coming out of high school, I was still very awkward. I don't make friends very well. That's why if I do have you as a friend, and I call you a friend, that's a big deal. It takes me a while to get to that point where I'm like, hey, old chum, and I'm my real self around you. That takes a while to get there. So getting to that point is excruciating. Making those friends is really, really tough. So when I got to college, it really helped me fit in a lot more with just people out in the real world, because I wasn't quite ready to be an adult. I wasn't quite ready for the responsibility. It was like super tough for me, right? Most people meet another person, they're like, hello, we're friends now. It takes me about like a week, 2 weeks until I'm like, you're my friend, I think.
And that's,
but yeah,
that's the correct way to do it. That you shouldn't just, one interaction does not a friendship make.
I used college as a trial run as an adult, because you can still get in trouble, but not too much trouble right away. There's no rent to pay. You just got to pay your tuition at the start of the year. Pay both your tuitions. I was on like 95% scholarship, so I only paid for a little bit. I still have a little bit of loans. Who knows? Maybe Stream will pay that off one day. A wink.
Wink wonk.
But no, I use college as a trial run for adulthood. I think if you have the money and you won't go in debt doing it, go to college. Great opportunity for you to just learn who you are.
Absolutely. And like you said, just that it's a trial run. That's how it's really designed to be. And if you're able to take advantage of, there's different things on every campus. Some colleges have small campuses. Some don't even have a full campus. But if you're able to, take advantage of whatever you have access to, because there's a lot of skills, memories, and friends that you can make along the way. So, and even if college isn't for you, that, whether it be trade school or just getting involved in your community, that there's so many different organizations that are community-based, community-run, that college is not for everyone. That I think there's a lot of good that a lot of people can get from college, but it's certainly not a thing that I would say is for everyone. But at the same time, if you're not going to go, find ways to get involved and find ways to give back, but also to get stuff from your community. Like I said, friends, memories, skills, that there's a lot out there, and you just need to look for it.
I agree. It's especially with the engaging community part, because it really gives you a way to start looking at people objectively, right? People and communities objectively. Like, why do I want to interact with this event? Why do I want to do these things, right? It's mainly a good trial run for that too, because you'll have organizations that you'll be interested in. Say it's a Yu-Gi-Oh club in college. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I didn't have a Yu-Gi-Oh club in college, because there already was one. I didn't want to join it because I wasn't interested in Yu-Gi-Oh at the time. Anyway, there are communities you can align yourselves with in college. I didn't join a fraternity or anything like that. There are things you can do like that in college, and you can really learn to interact with communities before you get into things like VTubing. It's like a trial run for that too. Literally, it's life experience. You can't put a price on that kind of experience, but the colleges will. It's around 40 grand a year. But anyway, it's still a lot of fun for me to be able to look back on college. I have so many fond memories. I was in my physical prime. I was trying all these new things. I was failing, and so many more. And that was probably the best for me, because it gave me an avenue to fail as an adult without a lot of repercussions, And I think that paved the way as my eventual start as a amateur content creator, because you fail every day as a creator. You fail probably like 10 times more than you succeed. But when you succeed, if it isn't the sweetest nectar of the gods.
Oh, absolutely. CD Sounds, thank you for the follow. You mentioned that you went to school for psychology and public relations. We had similar paths, but just a bit different. That I did marketing and information systems, which that marketing is very, very similar to psychology and public relations, but it's basically a more business analytical twist on those subjects. Right. So that was where I got my start, and it's not ultimately where I wound up, just because gaming industry is a bit weird, but at the same time, all the skills that I learned there, that they helped me get where I am, and they come into play even when I'm making VTuber Talk, and just it's these small things that everything you learn is a building block, and certain pieces that you get are going to be more useful than others, and it's figuring out which pieces are the most useful for you in your situation, because as always, things vary. So like Drunk was saying, that experimentation, that failure, and being okay with failure is a big thing. And especially if you grew up being very successful, learning how to fail is a skill.
Oh, I grew up failing my whole life. There's so many things that I didn't know before I even got started in life. So I had to fail like 2 times as much. I was so sheltered growing up.
Yeah, there's
kind of like an introvert extrovert. I'm like one of those weird ones, because I on stream I talk a lot, right? I'm very talkative. I'm not introverted on stream. When it comes to real life situations, I'm hiding behind my partner IRL and going like, I didn't get pickles, and then they have to go tell me he didn't order pickles. Like, I'm that guy who doesn't want to tell them, excuse me, you got my order wrong. I'll just eat it.
Well, apparently you got pretty confident that if you went and sent a strongly worded email to Twitch.
Oh, well, I was emotional, It took me a while. I was like crying, angry. I was so upset, and I was like, because I was doing the math. I was talking with my friends, my stream group, and they're like, no, you definitely have the average. And I was like, oh, then they f***ed up. I'm gonna go let them know. Like, I'm gonna defend my honor. It's something good about being in the right against a corporation.
Oh yeah,
and
well, that's
on
that's
top.
zone type of thing for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Good duelists never concede, Yugi.
A good duelist never folds until he draws the last card.
Yeah, that's right, Yug.
Life lessons with Yu-Gi-Oh.
Never give up until the fat lady sings.
And even when she sings, sometimes you can still keep going. So, but yeah,
Keep pushing on until they tell you to stop.
Keep moving forward. Absolutely. Now, obviously, Junkwave is your aesthetic. Junk is your name. How to phrase this? What would your definition of Junkwave be? It's the type of aesthetic that I recognize, but I've never been able to, I suppose, quantify or put into words what it is. Is that something that, do you have a go-to definition that you can give me, or at least, I suppose some pointers?
So Junkwave actually started as a name for my Discord, and then because I was coming with the nicknames and like my name, because it used to be like I used to do a lot of things before I landed on VTubing. I did IRL streams back in the past. They're all deleted, and I deleted everything off my Twitter with my IRL face on it and stuff like that. But I used to do IRL stuff. I used to try different mascots, a rat mascot. I actually used to be known as Junk Rat Waifu. Like I had a different name. All kinds of things before I landed on what I have now. So Junkwave was really just like a place that I called my Discord Junkwave City, and the brand for that could have built itself up. Like, oh, my Discord's called Junkwave City. I guess since I'm so well dressed, I'm like a mayor of this Junkwave-ish like city. This city set and frozen in time in the 80s. Neon lights adorn every building. It's always nighttime here. The floor is a vaporwave grid that's always running. It's like you're stuck in an 80s music video, and it's never gonna stop. That's what Junkwave is to me. It's like Kung Fury, the city in Kung Fury. Have you ever seen that little short movie that's free on YouTube?
Oh, it's been a while, but I know exactly the one you're talking about. Yeah.
That city where everything's over the top, 80s and stupid, but it's welcoming as hell. I love it. That is what Junkwave is. It is a place for all my quote-unquote residents of Junkwave City. Hold on, I'll put my iPad in. All my residents of Junkwave City to really just feel at home. This is your home. This is your hometown.
You actually created it was you and your community created a Junkwave City in Minecraft, I remember, a while back, and that was a cool thing. That was a cool stream. You had a lot going on there.
We I told everyone once we could do 1,000 Discord members, I would reward them for their dedication, and I still to this day, 3 months in, still have a Minecraft server, and I might we're still building it up. I got to do another Minecraft stream next week, so thank you for reminding me of that. But yeah, I wanted to really build on that theme of Junkwave City, so I got together with my moderators. Moderators are the best people. I want to thank Megarad, EGO, Bayray Games, Bunu Baba, just all my mods and their friends. I gave them all moderating powers. Said this task is way bigger than I thought it was going to be. I need to build a fully fleshed out city for the spawn area that no one can touch. And I've never played I haven't played Minecraft in like 6 years. And they're like ace palm me like, oh crap, how are we gonna do this? So I had to learn commands. I had to learn how to wipe a whole mountaintop village. I had to clean it all out. We had to build a wall by hand. It was painful, but we all came together. We did something great for the Minecraft launch for like 2 days because the server took so long to get to us. But really, having that moderator support, having those people that always got your back, only way I could have done anything remotely as well as that Minecraft server. It is so much fun. And I still see people talking in the Minecraft section of my Discord. New buildings every day. New trolls in my house every day. I love it. I love the interaction. It's really taking a life of its own now.
That's awesome. And like you said, love to the mods, whether it be mods in Twitch, Discord, just mods are the unsung heroes. And like I said, I say this as someone who did that professionally, and like, it's tough work. You all are the ones that are putting in this time, effort, and just like one of them said earlier, that they're not getting paid. And it is through the kindness of their own hearts and just generosity of their time and effort that they go out of their way to help and just create that type of environment that you were talking about, that welcoming environment that you want, because it is not easy to do, and it is near impossible for a single person to do on their own. So, mod love, absolutely.
Oh yeah, whenever I get a little bit bigger and I have that reach, I want to start doing like mod fundraising nights, where we just stream for 8 hours, and all the money that I earn in a given stream, I just give it to my mods and divvy it up and here, thank you for all the work you've done. I'm sorry I can't pay you now, mods. I'm not rich enough. I work a day job and this, and I still don't have enough money to barely do what I gotta do. But when I get to that point, I'm very much so the kind of guy that if I win the lottery and you've been nice to me, I'll never forget your name. I'll come back and I'll make sure that you get $1 million. I'm that kind of person.
Absolutely. And it's the type of thing that, if they ever need anything from you, that it's not a business relationship, it's not a formal thing, but I'd be willing to bet that if they ever need something, that you're going to go to bat for them.
Oh, 100%. I can help out if they ever need help. I always reach out. They've done more than enough for me.
Absolutely, yeah. And just seriously, like I said, as someone who's done it literally their job, and I had to work with, there were unpaid mods in the server that I worked with, and they were amazing. They made my job easier, and it was the type of thing that there were a couple of them that was I was sad to leave for that, but at the same time, I knew that stepping away from that was best for me. There was a multitude of reasons for things. Don't regret my move at all, but at the same time, I know that I'd have broken 10 times faster if I didn't have the support of the mods when I had them. So.
Oh yeah, mods are the heroes that keep the glue of my stream working. It's the only way that I can't think of enough. I could not be here without them.
So, I suppose I actually started to associate the term junkwave with vaporwave, and it was as you were explaining it that it sort of registered in my mind. It was oh wait, they aren't the same thing. That you actually, it's gotten to the point where I associate the two terms, but they are different. And one was one that you have effectively pioneered as part of your brand. So congratulations, you got your brand to the point where I'm actually.
Yeah, the brand's working. Everybody, brand's working. Yeah. We got him. Awesome. I'm glad. Oh man. Only one day I can
That's
be
when
as
you
good
know
as...
you've made it.
Yes. Oh, awesome.
Now, obviously, so for both of us, it seems the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime was a big thing back in the day. When we were talking earlier this week, we were sort of remembering, the old 4Kids shows, and just how that was sort of a gateway for us and a lot of others for anime and just this sort of, cultures and hobbies. You mentioned that one of the shows you've been watching more recently is Demon Slayer.
Yes, I actually just watched an episode. I was eating some food before as I got home today. I ordered some food. I was watching episode 9 of season 2. It is so good right now.
You're one episode ahead of me right now, so actually I'm probably gonna end up watching it.
The new episode just came out. It's so good. You're gonna love this episode. Oh my god, I got chills.
Yeah.
I think Demon Slayer is one of those animes that I really love, because I was surprised to find out one of my friends really loves Demon Slayer, and I was talking to him about it, and I was like, they read the manga, and I was like, oh, wait, what chapter on the manga are they? I'm like, oh, the manga's done. The story's been told. I'm like, really? I'm used to series getting their own anime, and then having 200 episodes of the anime and still catching up to the manga. Nope, story's already done for the Demon Slayer. I'm like, really? Oh my god, I'm pretty sure by season 4 we'll be done with the whole story. Oh my goodness, like, because you see things like One Piece, which like episode 1098 or something. You see Dragon Ball Z, of course, which super right now, but it's still not dying. The series is still alive. Demon Slayer's like, no, it's done. There's no offshoots. It's just it. It's just it, and it's just good. You don't see that too much nowadays.
They are taking care of business. They are moving at a steady pace. Studio Votable is just that was one of the big things I think that caught a lot of people for that series in the beginning was the visuals, because it is gorgeous. The way they do, the characters themselves have these there's very bold outlines, and the characters are all very different, that they look human for sure, that they aren't you were mentioning One Piece, and that characters in One Piece are iconically lanky. Characters in Demon Slayer are definitely more
you got all the females
realistic.
in One Piece who are just like sticks with boobs, and you got like all kinds of willy wacky like faces, and their laughs are weird, and they never really look human.
Yeah, but for Demon Slayer, all the characters, just the designs are very recognizable, but still very human, and
silhouettes.
They blend a couple different types of animation. That the way they show water and fire in the series are like a couple of the iconic looks, and they are gorgeous. But at the same time, that's not the style that the broader show uses, and especially this season. That I frankly fear a bit for the animators, because sometimes you hear horror stories in the anime industry of animators and studios being overworked and underpaid, and I hope they are treating the people at that studio well, because
been pretty good about that. I
certainly hope so.
Pretty good.
Because the work they do is phenomenal.
All mangakas like I would call animated mangaka, but you know what I mean. Like they're all in the same realm, and they know that they're going to suffer for their art, because I think they almost expected that the work culture over there is extremely toxic in those foreign countries. Work culture is toxic almost everywhere nowadays, but especially in countries like Japan, where they will work overtime, and if they don't, they are frowned upon. Not because like it's like everyone can leave whenever they're supposed to, but it's like an unspoken rule that you have to stay as long as you can. There have been people who've worked themselves to death on anime. People who have died on the table. There's a term for it now. There's an actual term for working yourself to death because of how often it happens in Japan.
Yeah, not a good thing. I know the one you're talking about, and I can't remember it either. But like,
Japanese.
That's not good.
Term for working to. Yep. Third result. Karaoshi can be translated to literally overwork death. It is a Japanese term relating to the occupational sudden mortality. The most common medical causes of karoshi deaths are heart attacks or strokes due to stress and a starvation diet. So anime workers like that's a real thing. I feel for more than them than anything, because not only are they kind of looked down upon for having a job that's not like manual labor or like a stereotypical like job, So they're already working themselves twice as hard because they don't think they deserve it. But at the same time, that work culture in Japan is just so diligent. I often, I'm not the only one that thinks this. I wish I was born in Japan. Oh man, I wish I was born in Japan. And then I look at the job culture and I'm like, do I?
Yeah, it's like,
do I want to work 18-hour days and have like 6-hour nights? Like,
Like the work they put out is incredible, but it's the type of thing that you say at what cost, and obviously
second to none.
In the past decade or so, that lights have really started to be shined in on the more toxic, abusive, and harmful cultural aspects of Japanese workplaces, particularly of anime studios, because that's where it can be particularly bad. It can happen in pretty much any industry over there, but it has become something a bit more iconic of anime studios, unfortunately. And it's the type of thing that whenever I see shows like Demon Slayer, that I always sort of pause and like, oh gosh, I hope the production side is
like you look at those scenes. I know what you're thinking. You look at those scenes, it's like, oh god, how many hours of crunch did this sword animation of Tanjiro like flipping over this guy 3 times? How many days of like 14-hour days they spend in the studio making this to get this episode out every week or every week and a half? God, you know, it's gotta be stressful. And
Yeah.
I have friends who work in game development. I have friends who work in voice acting. I have friends who work in not anime, but just those kind of environments. They're all very similar, and they're overworked and underpaid.
It's a thing for entertainment industries because people love the craft, and when they love the craft,
They'll suffer for it.
They'll suffer for it, and
just look at
self-preservation can
Blizzard.
go. And
Just look at Blizzard, am I right?
And just
People have been suffering for that for years, and look where it winding them up. They are bought by Microsoft now. They're
that's
owned by freaking Microsoft now. Like, that's been in the works for a while, but man, like that was eye-opening for me. Like, I never thought that Activision Blizzard would ever be anything but Activision Blizzard. Bethesda is owned by Microsoft now.
Did you see what happened
Bethesda.
just yesterday with
Sony
Sony?
took Bungie. Like, what is going on? Like, these things happen. Toxic workplace culture is being recognized now, and there are repercussions for it. You fuck up, your company's gonna get bought out, and we're gonna change the policies. Your stock drops low enough because of this crap, your company's gone. Like there
I
are
never thought of it from that
repercussions
approach.
now.
But then my guess is that the Microsoft talks have been in the works for well over 6 months. But then at the same time,
yeah.
the stuff going on at Microsoft has been happening for over 6 months. So rather the stuff at Activision
been
Blizzard
going
has
on
been
for
going on
years.
for over 6 months. So
For years, yeah.
we'll never really know the exact circumstance that led to it. But it's the type of thing that just there's a lot of different things that can change with ownership.
I would
with
love and
culture.
hate to be a fly on the wall during that meeting, you know? okay, guys. We're about to be sold to Microsoft. Everyone's going to think it's because of this reason, but it's because of this reason. They're never going to believe us. What do we do? You know, like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But yeah, going back to your topic about anime and Demon Slayer and production and why I love that anime so much, it's because I think it's one of those rare instances. Like, I love I'm a sucker for shonen anime. Okay, I'm a sucker for shonen anime. I like it builds up to a hype moment, and there's always a big payoff and a big fight, and I get hype with it. You know, it makes me want to go work out. Anything that makes me want to go work out is something I want to watch. JoJo is one of those things. I found that in college, by the way. I loved it.
You know,
But yeah.
given your look and just your personality, that doesn't surprise me, and I mean that as a compliment. I mean that as a compliment, absolutely. But
I often get told they look like
you're that
Dio.
type of. I can see that. Well, isn't there one of your emotes that makes you look like Dio? I'm pretty sure I saw one.
There's one that's a junkie face. Everyone, show them the junkie faces. Show them the junkie faces. There's a Joey Wheeler one. I got like a Chad one, but there's a bunch of other ones. I was gonna get one that looks like Dio, but I want to get like a better one, you know. But yeah, I do have a couple of them that are like that. People have often likened me to Vegeta, King of Fighters characters, Tekken characters, like of course Junkrat. Like, you can't escape that because I take a lot of inspiration from that. There's just a lot of characters that I try to emulate that style. That's why Wuzzy Den is so good, because the style is not directly anime, but it's not directly like not anime. It's like in between. Such a great style that they have. I love it. But yeah, I do replicate a lot of that energy. I want to have that same level of showmanship that anime does. I can reach that level of showmanship. Definitely gonna make it big.
Yeah, and like you said just at the beginning, that you channel that into your streams, that's how you play Yu-Gi-Oh! When you're streaming, that it's not something that everyone does, but you make a point of being that level of extra, being that level of hype, being that level of energetic, and just bring it to everything you do.
Right. It's very easy whenever you're bored all day at work, and you come home and you can just shout out at everyone, be like, "Hey everyone, welcome to the Coom Zone!" You know, like, that's awesome to be able to press a button and shout and have everyone come out with you and yell and post your emotes and do all this super badass stuff. That is amazing. Why wouldn't you bring 100% energy with all the things you talk about, all the things you're passionate about, Like, why wouldn't you just do 100% all the time? That way you go to bed knowing you gave it your all. It's 0 or 100.
Seriously, and
There
honestly,
is no
you're gonna sleep
95.
better if you put in all that energy. You're gonna usually, if you give energy, you're gonna get energy. That just
Right.
for me and for most performers, that you feed on the energy of the audience. And if you're hyping them up, they're gonna hype you up. But then also, when you're done, you sleep so well after a good stream or like after a good show where there's just been that much energy that when you finally come down from that adrenaline high, it's like, oh, it's a good day's work, good stream, a good show, and boy, do you sleep well that night.
Yeah, I regret when I don't put 110% out on every stream, because I'll go to bed and I won't be happy with it, and it'll eat away at me for a whole week. You know, streams do that to me. If I get to do a stream that's lackluster, that affects me the whole week. If I do a stream that affects me really well, that affects me the whole month. So why wouldn't you push 150%?
You know what stream I bet you got a real good night's sleep after? The one where you beat Sans.
Oh my God, the Undertale stream?
Yeah, I was there for that one. That was...
Oh my, what was that, like a 4-hour stream of just fighting Sans?
It was a long one, and just...
I think we had like 50, like 80 deaths or something like that.
It was a journey, but, you know, if you've never seen someone beat a genocide run of Undertale live, folks in chat, I hope you get that opportunity sometime, because it's...
Like, I'd never indulged in the memes. I'd never seen any Let's Plays. I completely missed the Undertale fan hype. I missed it, and I jumped completely over it. And then this Deltarune stuff came out, and I was like, what the hell is Deltarune? Like, you gotta play Undertale to find out what Deltarune is. And I'm like, fuck. Now I gotta play Undertale to find it out. But I might as well make a stream out of it. Might as well make it like a subathon reward. And I did. We made the genocide run a subathon reward, and we did. We actually had people submit like custom pixel mod for the whole thing. So I have a custom pixel junk model for the whole game. It's awesome.
Yeah, that would just... And obviously, you know, there's the meme of Megalovania, but damn if it isn't just an incredible song. That I don't care what people say. I unironically love Megalovania. It's such a hype song.
The boss battle music was annoying, but every tune in that song, I think I actually downloaded Megalovania after that battle, but I listened to that song like on my own now. It's a great ass song. I'm so sad that I missed out on the memes when they first came out, because I watched them with my partner IRL after that video, after that stream. And there's some good memes. I'm like, that's funny, because Papyrus likes spaghetti, and you can see all the spaghetti memes and Papyrus's face laid over it. And you know that meme culture, I really wish it was ingrained in that, because I feel like Undertale would have been a part of my life, a big part. Man, God, that stream. I think that was the only time in my life that I've ever gotten like that happy that I beat a boss, because it was challenging but fair, because the attack patterns are the same every time. It's pure trial and error gameplay. It's like a Dark Souls boss feeling. You know, the first time you beat Ornstein and Smo in Dark Souls 1, it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But God, I had like 120 people watching me at that time.
But just, you know,
And
that
we all
moment when
got
you
to see it
finally
together.
get there, and like you were frames away on a couple of runs. That there were a couple ones that it was just like it was the last attack, and it's a laser attack where it goes around the screen and you're just skirting it. Mm-hmm. And there were ones that like the end was in sight, and just it's one of those games where
that's when the butt cheeks clench. That's when the butthole puckers, you know?
Like the catharsis of beating it. It's such a good moment, and it was like, I've seen you hype. You're usually a hype guy, Chunk, but in that moment, my goodness.
That was true. That is what I call true hype. It was awesome. Junk it up, setting it up, junk on them. Yep. Now we have a new model on my stream. We have a new model on my stream. You know, there's a popular character in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Name is Chaz. Chaz Princeton.
Yep.
The Chaz.
Oh, God.
The Chaz runs on Chamas only. And then I stole that. I'm like, It's time to junk it up. Junk it up. Junk it up. And that usually gets everyone pretty hyped, you know?
Yeah. So Chaz It Up was the localization that apparently his motto in Japanese is something completely different.
10, 100, 1,000. Thunder! Mondome Thunder!
Yep, that was, I couldn't remember what it was. There was something thunder, and that just in Japanese, it's a pun. That just Japanese wordplay is naturally something that does not inherently translate to English, and especially when you're not using the same names. So whoever it was on that localization team had this moment where it's like, all right, I need to make this motto. That what is this, just extra crazy model, and it's the type of thing that. It's so cringe, but it's also so good.
And they nailed it. That's the feel of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's what you want. That campy shit, you know?
Absolutely. And that's been kind of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Brand from the beginning of just being over the top crazy, that from the characters to the cards, and that's why it works. And that's why people love it. That it is unrestrained, it knows what it wants to be, and it is that.
Preemptively for my birthday, I've thought about this. I've started adding a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh! Memorabilia to my throne wish list. I added all the Volume 1 mangas from Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I've never read them, and I've always wanted to see them, and I'm like, you never know. They're like $9 a piece, right? So, I've been preemptively, because I love Yu-Gi-Oh! So much, I'm like, okay, it's my birthday. Maybe someone will buy these things. That'll be awesome. Oh, God. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! That much. It's such a part of my childhood, and something I wish deeply as a child that I can go to Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Duel Academy.
Oh God, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have. Oh, I never wrote OCs, but the number of daydreams that I had as a middle schooler, being like,
kid,
it just oh my God, of just being in Duel Academy, that was the dream.
At 6 a.m. and watching Yu-Gi-Oh! But only half that episode because you had to go on the bus,
From where I lived, it was broadcast after school, so I would usually get home. For a couple years, it was what was on right when I got home, so I would usually get actually the latter half of an episode, and then eventually timing worked out, so it was later in the afternoon. But I have a lot of friends who just for where they were, because this was back in the day when it was local broadcast and cable was very different schedules depending on where you lived, that I know a lot of people that were very much in that boat of, it's in the morning, you don't get to see all of it. It's something that you wake up with. That wasn't my exact experience, but I have a lot of friends that are like that. And that's where it all begins.
One of the things I love doing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards is I just like holding them and shuffling them and drawing a hand and seeing how the door play out.
There's something viscerally enjoyable about just shuffling, holding, drawing, trading cards. It doesn't matter if it's Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, Magic cards. That just I have a stack of Magic cards here next to me, and every so often I'll just hold them, just flip through a couple cards. It from a sensory standpoint, it is really nice, and it's just that new card smell when you open up a booster pack. I want to be able to. I wish there was an air freshener you could get that was that smell, because it's a unique smell. If you know it, you know it. There's nothing like it. But it's something that you associate with so many good memories. That excitement of opening a booster pack, of playing cards, of seeing new stuff. It's one of those very unique and special smells. And it's weird to say it that way, but if you know, you know.
There's people who open up old card packs and the first thing they do is they smell the card pack. That's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be in the know to know. It's like you smell your childhood.
Absolutely.
In those packs. We took it for granted back then.
Mm-hmm. Salvio Kami, thank you for the follow. Yeah, I remember way back in the day of just Legend of Blue Eyes, that very first pack, and
Age of the Chaos for me.
Okay, well that
it
was
was Metal Raiders. Metal Raiders was one of my
Metal
favorites.
Raiders was just the second one, so you were in, very, very quickly there too.
Yes, Metal Raiders. I remember that.
Yeah.
I got a Barrel Dragon back then.
Yeah, Barrel Dragon was in it.
Hold on. Let me look.
The booster art monster for that was Black Skull Dragon, if memory serves.
Yep.
Gosh, this is bringing it back. It's like I remember Invasion of Chaos. That was one of my favorites. I think that's the one that Destiny board came in, which was one of my favorite cards because I love alternate or quirky win conditions. That some of the last decks that I built in the late GX era, so before Exceed monsters came into play.
Right.
You actually mentioned liking fire. The volcanic deck was one of my favorites. The one where it was volcanic scattershot, blaze accelerator, and just doing 500 incremental damage and other effects. That it was like Darkroom and Nightmare was one that whenever you deal non-battle damage, that you add on an extra 300. So now you're dealing 800 as opposed to 500.
Metal Raiders, Flame Cerberus was in there too, so that's also why I liked that set. That explains a lot.
Yes.
That explains why I remember a lot about that set.
Yeah.
And 2 secret rares in that set inside of Metal Raiders. They were the following. You could get you can get Summon Skull, Black Skull Dragon, Time Wizard, Barrel Dragon, Change of Heart, like Barrel Dragon.
I thought Change of Heart was in Legend of Blue Eyes. Maybe not though.
It could have been both. But it was an ultra rare in this one. It's an ultra rare Metal Raiders, and I love that pack. That set will always be the. If I can get a pack of Metal Raiders one day, I'm never gonna open it. Never gonna open it. I'm gonna set it on my counter and never gonna open it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, let me look at this. Let me see if it's on sale.
I'm just trying to remember all of them. What was your favorite archetype when you first started to play? That there's a lot more now, but were there any back in the day that it really stuck out to you?
Back in the day,
I guess.
Cards?
Yeah. So were there any like archetypes? So like I mentioned, the volcanic cards were some of the last ones that I made, but those are still pretty old. Were there any ones, whether it be like there was elemental heroes that with the GX era they really started introducing.
I like the Ancient Gear Golem archetype.
Oh yeah, Ancient Gear is cool.
I summon the Ancient Gear Golem, attack mode, mechanized melee.
No, I love Dr. Crowler.
Yeah, Dr. Valiant Crowler. Fun character. And the thing that the Ancient Gears did was when they attacked, they made it so your opponent couldn't use traps, and that was a big thing because there was a lot of trap cards of when an opponent monster attacks, do a thing, or just that you can activate effects and that it's in the battle step, so your opponent can't do anything about it.
Right. I just looked up the price.
My guess is that for an unopened Metal Raiders pack, I'm trying to think, because the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh that's different from Magic is the oldest Magic sets have cards that are still used in the legacy formats, so there's a value there. But for Yu-Gi-Oh, a lot of the old cards, one, have been reprinted, and two, just in terms of power scaling, are not competitively viable today. So they're more collector's items, whereas
they're all collector's items.
But like for the alpha set of Magic, the Black Lotus, tens of thousands of dollars because it is a playable card. It's an overpowered card. It's a card that shouldn't exist.
You can't get it anymore.
And that's why it has that value, but that doesn't exist for Yu-Gi-Oh! So my guess is it's going to be a bit cheaper, but it's still a collector's item. It's going to be expensive because there's not a lot of unopened packs. So my guess is, I'm going to guess $500.
No. 24 grand. For an unopened box set. Metal Raiders.
That's a box. That's a box. So it's 24 or 32 packs at that point. I thought
32 packs. 32 packs. That's still a very expensive box set, right?
Okay, but
I don't know why it's so expensive. Man, you can get a Korean one right now for $22.
Okay, well, I wasn't that far off. So
hold on. Yu-Gi-Oh! Metal Raiders 24 pack sealed booster box 1996, $2,450.
Which language is that?
That's English.
Oh, that's English.
That's English.
Okay.
So you about $3,000. Maybe if I have enough money and I'm rich enough, I'll buy one of those and I'll open it on stream.
Oh, no, I feel like you. If you got a box, I feel like you can't open it because it's just it'll appreciate in value too much, and just opening is gonna make it go down. If you get loose packs, maybe open one or two, but I don't know if I'd be able to do that. I think I'd want to just keep it sealed.
I don't know, man. I mean, I think it would make a lot of people upset. You know, I think it would really upset a lot of people. But I also think I would have a lot of fun. You know, opening up a Metal Raiders pack, getting a first edition cards that have been untouched for years, pulling an ultra rare Barrel Dragon. That's awesome.
True, yeah, and hope that you don't get one of the like Blade Fly, normal rare crummy cards.
No, I would love to get my hands on that. I'd have to open it.
Gosh,
if I ever become rich and famous on stream, I become rich and famous and I have money to just toss away. I'm buying a Metal Raiders box set, opening it on stream. Everyone can see as much as they want.
Like, when you get to that point of content creation, that sometimes those things can even fund themselves, because there are channels that do that.
Right.
That,
you can put that on
the old
YouTube.
stuff, and that, you pull in a lot of views, and then you can have those things pay
and
for
you can
themselves.
sell the cards. You can sell the cards if they're good enough.
Because they're usually going to be
good enough, sell it back.
Absolutely. Oh, man. Now it's like, I keep pausing because I'm just sort of having these flashbacks like, oh, gosh, I remember all this. Oh, man. It's been a while since I've just jammed about classic Yu-Gi-Oh! With someone. I think, so some of my favorite cards, like I mentioned, Destiny Board was probably my sort of pet card back in the day, just because I loved it.
Okay.
Because I loved the alternate win conditions, like I was saying, just that type of thing where, okay, I don't need to worry about all the monsters and whatnot. And I'd like sort of having that plan of, you can't stop me, or, you need to do this unusual thing to stop me, which I don't think you're going to be prepared for. And to be fair, Destiny Board is actually a really difficult thing to pull off, because at least nowadays, and even back then to an extent,
so much back row removal.
Yeah, there's always a way to get removal. So it's not actually a good or competitive strategy, but when you're just doing schoolyard level play, when you're doing non-competitive play, it was a real thing where, my, middle school opponents were not usually prepared for it. So I was able to, get around whatever crazy monsters they had that way, but certainly not a tournament viable strategy.
Right. Yeah, I can feel that. I am very much so the same. I run Time Wizard in some of my decks. I do all kinds of cool stuff. And
because Time Wizard, that's just completely luck-based. That's saying, all right, we're going to put a lot of this on a coin flip. Are you feeling lucky, punk?
You should see some of the duels that I have saved from competitive Master Duel, where I play a card called Head Judging. And Head Judging is a good card, right? Like, you have every time it's a trap card, you activate it. It's a continuous. Every time someone activates a monster effect, they have to call a heads or tails. If they call it wrong, the effect is negated and you get their monster, right? So I played this card in a competitive duel against a really competitive deck called Tri Brigades. They have a lot of big monsters, a lot of stuff coming out really fast against my really crappy non-meta deck. He calls Head Judging wrong 4 times, forfeits. Like,
oh wow!
I still have it saved. I want to upload it to Twitter, but my God, it's so good. Oh, and those are funny to me because they're non-meta. People get angry at them, but it's completely viable. It's in the game. I'm playing the odds more than anybody. I stand to lose more, but you stand to gain so much more. Wouldn't it be freaking epic if you were living an anime moment where all the odds are stacked against you and you went through pure luck with a Joey Wheeler moment? That is awesome. All of my cards have coin flips. I'm gonna make a whole coin flip deck, all based on luck, baby.
Now, if memory serves, there is a card. I think it's called Second Coin Toss.
I have 2 of them. I run 2 in my deck.
Nice.
Staples.
Hey, Min, raiding in with a party of 53. Welcome in, Raiders.
It's the Party Demonets.
Yes, welcome on
I've
in.
seen them.
Min was a guest of mine just a couple weeks back. She was, she also appeared on my charity stream a couple weeks back. Always love to see Min in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. I'm Jay. This is Vtuber Talk. I'm currently talking with Junk. You know what, Junk? I don't want to mess up your introduction. You have it down so well. If you could please reintroduce yourself.
Okay, fine. I guess I can do it. Hey, everybody, my name is Junk. I'm an 80 synthwave VTuber. I like explosions. I like being really loud. And I like rocking out with my Yeah, you know? All right, everybody. Awesome. Good to see you all here. Hope you had a fun time at Party Demoness' stream. I've seen them a lot. I recently saw them on Twitter, actually. Let me flip that up. I saw them on Twitter, actually, getting tennis balls and beach balls thrown at their face. And it was hilarious.
That sounds about right.
They've been on the rise lately. They're a very cool streamer. Love them.
So seems like you were doing art today, Min. Very nice. Yeah, she is an incredible artist. When I had her on, we had sort of a showcase of a lot of her different pieces, and she has this really fun, cool, creepy style, but is able to do much
I've seen their model.
fun stuff.
It's a vibe. It's a great model.
Absolutely.
I wish I could do 3D. I might need their help for setting up my 3D model because I actually have it. I just I haven't bought the Leap Motion for it, but I'm looking for 3D VTubers to interact with because now I can jump between 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional. I'm in a unique space right now, so I can interact with both without it looking weird on stream. But yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your day, Demoness. Thank you for rating the show. We were just talking about Yu-Gi-Oh.
Absolutely, that hangout if you still got energy, but if you need to rest, get some food, get some water, by all means, take care of yourself. I hope you had an awesome stream. Always good to see you, man. Where were we? We were just reminiscing and waxing nostalgia about Yu-Gi-Oh! Classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Like first gen stuff. I think my favorite sort of era, the classic era is obviously classic for a reason. I think the Battle City arc is iconic.
Oh, yes.
My favorite setting, though, like we were talking about earlier, is Duel Academy. I fell in love with the idea of,
the idea is better than the actual thing. Like once you think about it logistically, it's kind of stupid.
Oh no, it never worked.
Why am I paying these kids to learn a card game? Because some of them might go professional, but the rate of professionals that actually succeed is very low.
Yeah, so it's not entirely clear what the industry or professional scene is, so to speak, outside of these academies. They never actually really delve into it and say, all right, what percentage of these people graduate and become professional duelists? Like, you never see into the life of what is a professional duelist life. What do they do? Do they have sponsorships? Like, are there big tournaments run by Kaiba every week?
They do have sponsorships. Zane talking about how he lost his sponsorships, and you have to have
that's right, they had that
arc. As a duelist to succeed, you do have to have them.
That's right. Okay, so they do show that a bit. I forgot about that. That was a dark arc, though, what they did with Zane.
Yeah,
they
died.
Yeah, rough stuff.
Right.
But still, you think it's not quite acting school per se, but it's that type of thing where it's a very niche industry. But being able to go to that type of academy, it was on this island. It was so cool. If you haven't seen Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, watch a couple episodes. Do yourself a favor. It's a fun time.
Even if you don't like Yu-Gi-Oh! You can watch it dubbed. You can watch it subbed. I like it better subbed. But you can watch it dubbed. It's all great. If you haven't seen the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series subtitled instead of dubbed, I recommend that too. The music is way better.
Oh yeah, I think that the dubbed soundtrack is really, really good, but the original soundtrack is the original for a reason. But it was still cool to hear those different interpretations. Oh, I just remembered one other thing. So you mentioned on your stream the other day, Duelist of the Roses, and talk about the ones that aren't indicative of the actual gameplay. That one was like this weird sort of grid tactic type of thing that had card elements baked into it.
Oh, you talking about Duelist of the Roses?
Yeah.
That was a good game.
Yeah,
There's actually a creator that I watched called Clovis, who was big into that. That was their main content, was just Duelist of the Roses. They were working on a mod for it. They actually released it. It's like they made it to where you can get every card in the game. They improved equip cards, and they made the game like the best version is. They made it a lot harder. They made it to where you can grind almost any card, get any card in your deck. Any card can be a deck leader. Even fusion cards can be regularly obtained. All that stuff. They made that a super awesome mod. And I've been wanting to play it, but since I started streaming, I've just had less and less time,
Yeah, the other spin-off one that I really enjoyed, it was called Falsebound Kingdom. It was on the GameCube, and it was this combination of overworld tactics, but then turn-based strategy with like 3 monster teams. It could have been done with really any theme. It could have been, you know, Dungeons and Dragons. It could have been just this very generic fantasy thing, but they decided to put Yu-Gi-Oh branding on it, and dang, was it fun.
It definitely was a game that already existed, and they just plopped in Yu-Gi-Oh monsters for sure. They already had the system, and they were like, boom.
Oh, absolutely.
We already have these creatures, might as well use them. We already have these models from Duels of the Roses. It'll be easy to make this game because we already have all the assets. It's a cash grab, really, but I never learned how to play that game. It was too difficult for me.
Oh yeah, because there were certain ones that would get very tricky, that you had to either know how the enemy was going to move and sort of iterate on your strategy, or be able to put together particular ones. But yeah, there were some really tough maps in that.
Right.
Just, you know, talking about all of the oddball Yu-Gi-Oh games that didn't actually play like the card game. Made me remember that one
a lot more than I love Duelist of the Roses. It's probably my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh game. It's nothing like Yu-Gi-Oh, just because you have this different relationship. All the cards have battles and effects, and they dumbed down the systems for the years. If they would continue updating games with 3D models when the cards came out, we could have had every card having a model in 2022. Every card battle would have had extra animations. It would be amazing. But they don't want to waste that money anymore. Now it's way too costly to go back and edit every card in. You know, I'm upset about that.
Still, you know, for what they are, it's the type of thing that if you're able to go back and track these games down, highly recommended. That they are products of their time. To be sure, they're a bit janky around the edges, but they're a good time, and they're the type of games that aren't going to get made anymore. They just aren't.
Yeah, there's never going to be a remake for Duelist of the Roses. There's just no interest in it. Yeah, it would sell poorly. Absolutely. I mean, we hope for it, but it'll never happen.
Yeah. 3ROTron, thank you for the follow. I hope I pronounced that correctly. 3R0T.
Oh, I just call him Tron. Welcome in,
just
Tron.
Okay.
Yeah,
you know him. He's regular
Tron.
for you then. In that case, Tron. Welcome on in. Thank you for the follow. If you were in charge of Yu-Gi-Oh and that you were able to do something with the brand, what would you want to see it do that it hasn't done?
Make dual discs real. Listen, Konami's not broke, but they're not rich either, okay? I would dip some money into making Yu-Gi-Oh more fun to watch. If Yu-Gi-Oh was more fun to watch, they had these holograms or these augmented reality models that could be piloted and had attacks and stuff like that. They didn't have to be one-to-one to Yu-Gi-Oh per se, but I think if we had duels that had that in it as a possibility, we would see a better game. I would very slowly start paying artists to 3D model cards. You know, maybe like 10 models a month or something like that, you know? 10 models a month for 10 cards. And just keep doing that. Keep doing it, get all the old ones up to a certain point, and then have tournaments. Use these models on the cards. Like, have a technology. If you're watching, every time they play a card face up, the model would pop up on it for the camera to see. Like that'd be amazing. That would be so entertaining for me. And everyone who doesn't play Yu-Gi-Oh, it would be way more entertaining. It would set card games to a new level. It would bring interaction to the game. It would make people appreciate the cards. And you can even have, like, if it's an ultra rare, you can have it be like a shiny form hologram. Like, so much cool shit. So much cool shit. Oh, I would do that.
I feel like it's just not practical, but damn.
No.
You're not wrong that it would be so
perfect.
cool. It would be so cool.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh's not practical either. Nothing in the series is practical. It would be the perfect fit. Konami is too busy making pachinko machines in Japan, so you know.
Actually, didn't they just... No, they got out of Crane... I think they got out of Crane Games. No, that was Sega. I'm sorry. I'm mixing up my Japanese developers. But you are right that they do have a lot of stuff in pachinko.
Right.
Yeah, Min's right. The rule of cool. If that isn't Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't know what is.
It's the rule of cool. And the chat says, we need more holograms of Ojamas. Oh, yeah.
The rule of cool and the rule of duel.
Slifer Slacker.
gosh. Oh man, Chaz was he was such an asshole.
Chaz was a Chad.
That works way too well, but you're not wrong. Oh my God, he really was. He really was a Chad.
Right.
Oh God.
Agreed.
Insanity. Just I'm having so many crazy flashbacks right now, and so flame servers. All right, how do we make this into an archetype? How do we do this? I want to take your favorite monster. How are we making this competitively viable? Like, what's the crazy effect that you wish that flame servers had?
I wish that, like, if I could give flame servers an effect, it would be to sacrifice one monster on the field, and it doubles its attack for 1 turn. That's what would set it apart. It would double its original attack for 1 turn. But you know that's how I draw it back. That's how I give it an effect. It gives it that type, and all the effects of the cards that support it would love to go to the grave. But they have to be tributed. Effects have to be activated through tributes only. That's how you nerf it. Because if it's destroyed,
it's not
weird.
the same. Yeah,
But I'd make it a boss monster. I'd have cards to support that. And of course, it'd be immune to like spells and traps and that's how I'd make it really beefy.
Sorry, you're breaking up a tiny bit. Okay, you started to come back. That you just got clipped a little bit for the audio. So hopefully we're saying that I'm not seeing any drop frames on my end, and visually still coming in.
Video Ninja.
Yeah, it might be glitching a tiny bit, but still going strong. Holy shit, man. We've been at this for 2.5 hours already. Like, just blinking there. Where's the time go? Where's the time go?
Yeah, it's flown by.
Goodness. Are there any games that you're really looking forward to, you know, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or otherwise, or, you know, even just in general? What are you looking forward to nowadays,
Dying Light 2, February 5th, Dying Light 2.
Ooh, okay.
A lot of games I'm going to be playing.
So, now Dying Light is one that I have not played myself, because remember, so that's a horror game, correct? Or am I thinking of a different one?
No, it's a zombie game.
Okay.
It's a zombie parkour game.
All right, well that explains why. Yeah, not my style of game, but those are the ones that I enjoy watching. Though that's been one of the things for me, that streaming has allowed me to consume so many games that I would not want to play myself. That, you know, watching someone play a horror game on a stream is like watching with your friends with the lights on. That it's not scary. So I love consuming those types of games that I don't want to play in that manner, especially, you know, if it's someone with a good personality who's always going to be, you know, engaged with chat, putting on a good show. That those are how I always like those. Games.
I screamed like a little girl the whole time.
I never said that the streamer had to not be scared. I just had to say I just need it to be so that I'm not scared. I don't care if you're scared.
Yeah. I get you.
But so I'll definitely tune in for that one, because that's one of those that I won't play myself, but you know, I know, or I've heard of the Dying Light games, and I know it's one that a lot of people enjoy. So that'll probably be how I end up getting that one. That's one of the cool things just of streaming in general, of finding new things or experiencing things in ways that weren't really possible before, that you would rarely go over to a friend's house just to watch them play. That if you're going over to a buddy's, you're going to be playing couch co-op, or you're going to be playing, you know, 2-player versus or something. But there is something super comfy about it, you know, just, you know, sitting down, watching a stream, and even if it's not a game that you're into, that if there's that personality there, that, you know, a good streamer can make any game or any stream, any topic good. And that's one of the cool things about streaming, about VTubing in general, is just that it's allowed so many people with fun, engaging personalities like you, like all my past guests, to just, you know, be those type of people that, even if it's not a one-to-one interaction, because obviously, you know, you're not talking with chat like you would talk with your buddy on the couch. But at the same time, there's a reason that people keep tuning in, and that more and more people are discovering streaming, not just as streamers, but as viewers, because it's just a fun time. It's such a fun time.
No, I get that a lot. I watch a lot of my horror stuff through other people as well. Because I can't... There's interactions like that you would not normally get, you know? I love those kind of things. Those, it's like a parasocial symbiotic relationship when you watch someone stream horror for you, because you don't gotta do it yourself.
Yeah.
You get to do all the scary stuff. I get the enjoyment of the game and the story that I wouldn't normally get.
Exactly.
I watch a lot of YouTube videos where they just explain the story of movies that I'm never gonna watch, just so I can get the gist of the story, you know, stuff like that.
I'll do that all the time, or like I'll go to Wikipedia and look up the synopsis for a horror film that I have no interest of seeing, but you know, the trailer came across my feed or was in front of another movie that I was watching. It's like, okay, I know I'm not going to see that, but there was a hook there that now has me super curious, so I need to know what's actually going on. And I'll read the little blurb and be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Cool, great. I'm never going to watch that, thank you. But
Right.
At the same time, for those that enjoyed, more power to you. I'm not going to yuck anyone else's yum, but I know myself and I know the stuff that I don't care for, and I will enjoy those in this other way. You can get scared. Have fun.
Right. I get you.
So, is there something... Well, actually, winding back to the tournament this weekend, when did that idea bubble up? Because I'm guessing it had to have been pretty recently, that this has been forming. It feels pretty fast, but you've been putting the pieces together, that it's not an overnight thing. But was this something that even before Master Duel came out that you were looking into?
Yes, because I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm like, this is cool. I want to get my community interested in this content. I want to see how many people are interested in this content. So the signups were really just a way to gauge interest, you know, and then from there, it was just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. I kept bringing new people in, and Master Duel came out, and then people kept coming in for those signups. Literally, I planned that tournament, and like a week later, Master Duel dropped, and I was like, oh, you know, like.
Yeah, in some ways it's good, but at the same time, now you need to change your format. You need to change your venue, so to speak.
But I kept strong. I'm not going to change the duel types. It's just a fun thing for us to do. And I get to watch, and I get to make a stream out of it, like a 6-7 hour stream of just watching people duel and hosting a tournament. That'll be fun. Something that I can do without having to worry about averages, because I'm partnered, and it helps. Yeah. I do have to get going pretty soon, though.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I can talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Literally all night.
Yeah, no, it's just like, it's the type of thing that, you know, we had a couple other ideas, but just, you know, we were sort of jamming. I was like, oh gosh, I don't get to talk about this very often. So
I told you I was going to talk forever. I told you had no problems with dead air.
Hey, this is a talk show. You're a host's dream. My man, you're a host's dream. I love it. Just, you know, I don't need to do really anything. You know, just every so often I'll lob a little thing over your way and you just keep hitting them. This has been an absolute blast. If anything, I hope that you haven't gotten upset or bored with me indulging me in Yu-Gi-Oh! Talk right now.
I'm looking at the time and I'm like, oh God, we've been talking about Metal Raiders and Yu-Gi-Oh! for 2.5 hours?
It happens. You never know what's gonna happen, but you know, that's part of the fun for me. And
you are a great host. Like you set them up so easily.
I do my best. Now, before you get going, I do have just a couple standard things that I like to ask all my guests. The first is, for 2022, we are a month in now. You're already partnered, so that's one of the things that people usually say, you know, that's my goal. I want to hit partner. For you, what is your goal this year?
15K.
15K?
15K followers, 75 active viewers, no matter what I stream. That is my goal. I know it's numbers based. I know numbers are stupid. You cannot base your worth off of numbers. But that is my big one. Oh, and 1,500. Actually, we'll go for 2,000 in the Discord. That's my huge goal. I think we can reach it. I have a lot of plans. I plan to do more VR content. I'm planning on doing more 3DS content. I'm planning on doing more like Yu-Gi-Oh! Content, different games from the past. I have the problem where I don't have enough days in the week, and I have more things that I want to do than I have time for. It's a good problem to have.
Absolutely, yeah. And then the last question is one I ask all my guests: what does being a VTuber mean to you? And when I say that, I don't mean what is the definition of a VTuber. I mean that for you, Junk, what does it mean to be a VTuber? I've had all sorts of answers. Some people say it is a tool in my arsenal as an entertainer, that it is a mask that I wear, a part that I play. It is a tool. I have others who are more personally invested where they'll say, you know, it lets me get in touch with my childhood, or it lets me be someone that I can't be in my everyday life. And all those answers and everything in between is totally valid. So
Right.
the question is,
For me-
for you, Junk, what does it mean to be a VTuber?
For me, being a VTuber is bridging a gap. You know, it is a childhood dream to go about making these OCs when you're a child and interjecting yourself into these worlds you'll never physically be able to get into. I'll never be able to play dual monsters and have the monsters summon. I'll never be able to play Pokemon and pet my, or in real life and have a Pokemon. But with VTubing, I'm as close as I can possibly get. I have a character that people can associate with. It is a comfort thing. Some people don't like looking people in the eyes. They like seeing the anime character. That's perfectly fine. It bridges that gap. And as a wannabe voice actor, an amateur voice actor with no roles under his belt, it is the closest thing that I will ever get, to my knowledge, of being in an anime. Being in an anime world, you know?
Yeah. No, and that
One
fits
day
me.
I can voice anime through VTubing being the thing that introduces me to voice acting and gets me those connections. I will be forever grateful. So I can indulge in that anime space and dive deep into it, because that's what I want to do one day, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely a childhood dream.
Absolutely. And it makes sense. And I ask that because I never know what the answer is going to be, but whenever I get the answer, it always makes sense to me. And that's one of the reasons that I keep asking, because everyone has a different answer. It means something different to everyone. And I find that very interesting, very telling. And I think it really puts a bow on everything of who you are, what you do, and just what makes you so unique and so awesome. So as we start to wrap up, if you could look around, Junk, and tell me if there's someone that you would like us to raid. And while you're looking around for that, I'll do a little bit of outro housekeeping. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Junk has been just a delightful guest. His links are right there at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to give him another shout out in the chat. It's just /Junk here on Twitch, and then it's _Junk, and then another underscore after that for Twitter. So definitely give him a follow. He is just, as you can see, I hope it can come through that, you know, bundle of energy, great guy. Definitely want to check him out. And if you're not doing anything this weekend, be sure to tune in for that Yu-Gi-Oh tournament.
Absolutely. Join in. It'll be a
know
hot,
how the
fiery
game
tournament.
is played. Even if you don't know how it's played, the game is so damn hype. You'll be able to tune in and have a good time. I guarantee it.
Especially, we're going to have Miss Houndu on as well, co-hosting. It'll be great.
Oh, fantastic.
I sent you the username. It's a streamer friend of mine. Big energy, big wholesome energy as well. They go by Gamer Goblin Gary. Very well loved in the community. You know who Gary is.
I know who Gary is.
He kind of looks up to me as a big brother, and I'm a senpai. He's my kohai, you know.
Mhm.
I highly recommend you all check him out and hang out with him.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm going to get that queued up. So I don't have any emotes myself, but be sure to spam lots of Junk's emotes if you got them. If not, just spam emotes to send some positivity over Gary's way. We're going to get an outro playing, but then we'll be raiding over Junk. I cannot thank you enough for being here.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone in chat, thank you for tuning in. I'm Jay. This is VTuber Talk. If you feel so inclined, give me a follow, but honestly, follow Junk. He's the one that's, putting out amazing content on the regular. I'm a once, twice a week guy, maybe. I hope you all have enjoyed it. Be sure to check him out. Like I said, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.